let me go deep into my closet. Let me go to a 4-decade shirt in honor of the Heat. So today I'm sporting my Rony Seikaly shirt today from the late 80s. Yeah, this is a shirt from the late 80s, brother. And by the way, I can still wear a shirt that I wore in the late 80s. It's actually not a bad thing that I can actually wear a shirt from the late 80s. But yeah, we got our Rony Seikaly shirt. What do you think? Let me see. I don't know if you guys can see the whole thing. But there you go. There's my Seikaly shirt. What do you think? What do you think, Bill?
Epic, man.
I pulled out a classic.
It's
there.
epic, bro. Our very first rookie draft.
Yes, first draft pick. Yes, definitely. Our first draft pick. I wonder how many people have a Rony Seikaly T-shirt in this town, right? How many people? And it's not in bad shape, by the way. For a nearly
you could definitely see that you wore it, but then you stopped.
Right.
You stopped before you started getting the little holes in the shoulder and all that, the neck coming apart.
No, let's be honest. I probably got too fat to wear it. That was really what was going on.
We were trying to be nice.
It's really what happened. You know what I mean? But I'm brutally honest. So it doesn't matter.
But look at you, man. You're sporting a shirt that is late 80s.
Yes,
man.
yes.
So
we are sporting late 80s, Rony Seikaly. So, how about that?
It's only a couple years removed from high school. Very impressive, man.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's right. 3 years removed. I don't think this is an 88. I think this is like an 89. I think it came out like the year after that he was a player or something like that. But, yeah, this is an old shirt.
Thing I loved about Ronnie, first four, every year he got better. His rebounds, his points.
Well, he worked hard.
And he was a most improved player one year.
Right, yeah.
Like,
he worked hard.
And the thing is, it's really cool. His family has money. It isn't like he had to play basketball.
Right.
He's just a hard worker.
Right. Unlike Johnny Manziel. Right. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
I know where you were going. Right. I get it. So, in honor of the Heat, and since I am a true Heat fan, I was a season ticket holder in these days, right here, actually. I was a season, because I ended up getting into the media in 91, and then I dropped my season tickets. That's it. So, yeah. That was actually my 88, 89, 90, and 91 were the years that I was a season ticket holder. And then after that, I was in the media and didn't buy tickets. I've bought tickets, but not season tickets anymore since those days. But anyway, so figured we'd talk. We're going to talk a little Heat today. They take on the Pacers. It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. There's a really good game. The Pacers have been playing really, really well. And so we'll see if the Heat, they're only 9-9 on the road, and the Pacers are 15-4 at home. So we're talking about a team that has played well this season, and, they play dominant at home. And this is all without Oladipo, which has been really, really impressive. We're going to have Kobe Price on the show later on from the Sun Sentinel, and he's been on the Heat beat now. And he wrote a couple stories in the Sun Sentinel today. One about Winslow coming back, where Miami actually is going to be at full strength now. Tonight, they could have everybody available. You just added James Johnson back. Now you added Winslow. And Indiana plays some bigger guys, so maybe you might be able to expand the rotation today, which I think a lot of us would like to see a little bit more of that, but it is what it is. So we'll find out about that. But Kobe wrote a story about how they're honoring Wade. I don't know if you heard about that. They're doing a 3-day event to honor Wade. Did you hear about this?
The only thing I heard about was the retirement of his number. I think it's February 22nd.
The 22nd against the Cavs. That'll be day 2. Day 1, February 21st, it's called the Flashback, which will be an exclusive to current season ticket holders. It will be on TV, okay? But the people that will be inside will exclusive season ticket holders, and that'll all be, they'll, do the whole thing about Wade's life and all that good stuff, and Wade will be there and address them. Then the second night on the 22nd, when they retire his number against the Cavs, right? And then on the 23rd at the AAA, at 3:30 in the afternoon, and you can buy it for $3 a ticket. Okay, 333. They will have a documentary that will be highlighting his career. So you will get to watch that at the AAA. This was the Miami Arena. At the AAA, and that will only be $3. And I'm sure they're probably doing something that the proceeds are going to something.
I would say that's safe to assume.
It's just the Heat are classy in that way, and they do stuff like that. So it's just one of those, but it's a well-deserved celebration. The question I have is there a statue? I didn't hear about a statue, and
that would be our first.
I think the man needs a statue. I'm just saying, you got to have a Rocky-like statue out there for him. Look, eventually we're going to have to put a Pat statue out there. I get it. Then you're going to have to put a Zoe statue out there. But I don't know, man. Wade is Wade, bro. Wade is, wow. I don't know. I would put, it is Wade County, bro. You know what I'm saying? I
heard
like
something about Biscayne Boulevard, a portion of it being renamed or something.
Yeah, they brought that up. They brought that idea up to name it, but that would not be the Heat. That would be the city that would have to do something.
Of course, yes.
I'm just saying for the Heat.
Yeah,
I think a statue is I don't even know if you have to do a statue for anybody else except for Riley. Not even Zoe. I love Zoe and I love Timmy, and I get that, Zoe and Timmy.
Zoe because
and
of
Shaq's numbers have been retired. So now Wade will join Bosch and all these guys with their numbers retired. That's fine. But the guy out of all the players that deserves a statue more than anybody,
yes,
is Wade. Okay? Because Zoe doesn't have his title without Wade.
Probably not.
Okay?
You're right.
All right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. We do the Wade statue at the AAA, and we do the Udonis statue at Miami High. There you go. We compromise. Right? I mean, if you're Miami High, you got to do a statue for UD. You got to. So there you go.
I think Zoe's lack of obviously being a draft pick, being homegrown from day one, but Zoe's activity in the community, I think, would be the reason.
No. He deserves a statue. I'm not saying he doesn't.
Right.
And so does UD.
But Wade needs to be.
And so does Timmy.
Right.
And so does Bosch. Okay? I could make a reason for a statue for all those cats. But they're still not at Wade's level.
No.
Nobody's at Wade's level.
Agreed.
And so that's why I would just add a statue just for Wade. Because Wade is not just the guy for the Heat. Let's be honest now, folks. Greatest athlete for South Florida, period. He passed Marino. Okay? And it pains me, and I love my football, and nobody loves the Dolphins more than I do, but you got to be objective. The dude brought 3 titles. Okay? That can never be denied. That's 3 titles. Not 1, not 2, but 3. And 5 trips to the finals. That can never be matched, man. Never. It's going to be near impossible to ever match that. It won't be matched in my lifetime. That's for sure. Before I check out, I don't think I'll have a guy top Wade. Maybe in 40, 50 years from now they will, but not now. I don't expect it.
You don't plan on hanging around into your hundreds, man?
No. I've said this before. When I can't clean myself, I'm done. I'm checking out. Okay? I don't want to be around anymore if I can't clean myself. That's it. That's my whatever. Okay? Walk, crawl. I'll live as long as I can live. The day I can't wipe myself, I'm done, bro. It's time to check out.
I can't wipe. I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, wipe and go. What do you guys got here on the board already? We are live But like the button, that's right, like button, that's right. As you watch, please give us the thumbs up. We need as many thumbs up. Spread the word. We love you for that. Ian from Brooklyn chiming in. Mace Taggart chiming in. Miami Kid says, Big O, this show is like cafecito con leche in the morning. I got to have it every day. LOL. Thanks, man. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Miami Kid. I appreciate that. Let's see, what else do we have? Big Mike, morning from New York City. Thank you, Big Mike. Appreciate it. User Tone 6060. The tickets go on sale on his B-Day. Oh, okay. There you go. That's pretty cool. Let's see. What else do we have? Like MJ statue. Exactly. Yeah. Wade's got to have it. Wade deserves it more than anybody.
And he should be first.
Yes.
He should be first.
I think
probably followed by Riley.
I think he should be first and only, bro. Only. That's it. It should be only Wade outside the arena. And then when Riley retires, do something inside the concourse. Something that honors Riley inside.
A lot of places have that,
not a statue.
The museum, the whole group.
Yeah.
It gives them their.
I would have something.
What was it? San Francisco.
You know
Supposedly at Levi Stadium, they got a very cool thing.
You know what? I'm going to take you to a Pacers game this year. Okay?
It's a tough game.
Well, I don't know who they're going to be playing. Actually, you know what? We should check February 24th through March 2nd. The schedule in Indiana right now, check it and see if there are any home games, first of all. But even if there's not home games, I know the Pacer people, they'll let me in the arena and walk around it empty. Okay? So I got to show you. Why I'm telling you this is, and for those of you that have never been there, because I've been to the Pacer Arena, I don't know how many times, but it's a NBA museum, okay? Both floors. The walls are just, dude, they are awesome. It's basketballs from the 40s and the 50s signed by Mikan and Kareem and
peach baskets as hoops,
jerseys
right?
of all kinds of teams, ABA, NBA, just all kinds of like incredible NBA paraphernalia. Okay? Like if you ever go to a Pacer game, go 2 hours before, okay? Because you'll need an hour alone just to walk both floors of the arena and just look at all the memorabilia. And it's also built like a field house. So it has the glass with the sun coming in and all that kind of stuff, because that's the way things have always been back in the day. When they had, what's it called, basketball gyms. Actually, if you want something that's close to field house, like, go to Miami High's gym. That's probably the most classic gym in all of South Florida. But anyway, that's what I'm going to take you to. And so that's what I would do inside the AAA. A thing that has honoring Riley, pictures, the opening press conference where he talked about having a vision and the parade. And, I would do all that to kind of honor Riley. Like a statue is great for the player, but for Riley, I think it needs to be something that's kind of a mini museum inside the AAA. That's what I would do. That's just me. Okay? He's not going to allow you to do it while he's there because that's who he is. You know what I mean? Which we should do it already because he's in his 70s. To be honest with you, we should be doing all kinds of things to honor Pat Riley already as it is. Because that's what he deserves, because that's what he's given us for 20-plus years. Think about it, man. What Shula and Riley have done for us sports-wise, wow. That's why, and we got it from some of you out there over the last couple of years. While Riley had his suck moment, okay, there are some of you out there, he's lost it. He's over the hill. Get rid of him. No, they're bouncing back now. And that's one of the things I've always said. Hey, man, yeah, he screwed up the last couple of years. That's fine. But I've always said I stay by Riley. I would never, because I learned my lesson with Shula. We screwed up. We were back in the day where, the game's passed Shula by, all that. And all these guys we replaced him with Shula, they still, on their best days, they're not better than Shula's worst days. Okay? And we screwed up then, and that's why I've always said, as you get older, you get perspective, you learn. Hey, man, I'm sticking with Riley. I'll wait till he gets us through this crap with these terrible salaries and contracts. Fine. And look what's going on with the youngsters. It's pretty cool. So with Riley, I would do something like that, kind of a museum type of presentation, something inside that is just lasting forever, that kind of thing.
And you're right. To wait till he passes.
Yeah.
That he can, acknowledgement needs to be done prior.
See, the thing is, with Riley, you can't explain it with a statue. A player, you can kind of explain it with a statue because it's a player and playing and the championships, whatever. With Riley, it's more than that. It's a story you need to tell from beginning to end. It's something that youngsters may not even really appreciate, all the different teams he brought to Miami already. You think about all the different types of Heat teams we've had over the years, and most of them all successful. That's pretty amazing. Most of them all made playoffs. Most of them all won division titles. Some of them got to conference, and some of them got to the NBA Finals. I mean, it's just really amazing, and the transformation, and think about this. Not only Wade, but what do we do in this town without Riley the last 25 years? Because you think about what's gone on with the Dolphins, nothing for 25 years. The Miami Hurricanes, we have to go to 2001. We have to go 18 years back, 19 years back now for that last championship. And the last, 202, I know we got the title stolen and all that stuff. So let's say 202 is the last great year of the Canes, right?
Don't forget the baseball team, 2001.
Yeah.
Was really high,
right,
UM.
Right. And so it's been, rough, okay? UM basketball has been like our other saving grace. Think about it. It's so screwed up. They went to the ACC. The basketball program's the one that adjusted to the conference. The football program actually went backwards. How does that make any sense? But you think about it, without Riley, our pro sports, we had the Marlins with the 03 championship, and it's a nice little fluky thing that can happen, but you knew that there was no substance behind it because they couldn't build. They weren't going to keep players. They weren't, it was just something they fluked into because Dombrowski left them that talent. That's all. But overall, the Marlins have been terrible. Panthers haven't been able to get over the hump. They're killing me last night again, losing to the Coyotes. Without Riley, without the Heat, that's what I'm saying. And yes, Wade deserves his trophy. His statue on top of this 3-day celebration. But let's not forget Riley, man. That's the guy that needs to be, because without Riley, you don't have Wade, and you don't have Zoe, and you don't have Shaq, and you don't have Mason in a pinch when Zoe went down, and you don't have, Tyler, and you don't have Spo, and you don't have Van Gundy, and you don't have all these coaches, and you don't have, I'm just telling you, none of this happens without Riley. None of it. You're a middling team probably all the way through. You're the Orlando Magic. Okay? That's what you are. You're Orlando Magic South without Riley. And that would be, terrifying. Because we had an elite professional team here when we didn't have 4 teams. The Dolphins were one of the elite, teams in all of pro sports. The highest winning percentage and everything, all that stuff. Then, obviously, Shula retires, and they have killed everything Shula built. Everything that Shula built got destroyed. Well, Riley did the same thing Shula did. And it has not been destroyed. It's been pretty much all ups. The last couple of years, we had some downs, all right, whatever. But overall, it's been more positive, way more positives than negatives. And let me tell you, they've had their setbacks. from Zoe's kidney ailment to Juwan Howard getting his contract reversed to Timmy having Achilles, injury after injury. They had their share of all kinds of bad luck along the way.
Being stuck picking 4 to 6, 7 and getting the same J.R. Reed, Glenn Rice, that same small forward.
Shaq
we never had the luck.
Shaq and Wade injured against the Pistons the year before the year before they won it.
Right. Yeah.
And they would have won back to back because I think they would have spanked the Pistons, and I think they would have beat the Spurs that year too. Because Shaq was the Shaq right there. We had the Shaq after. The following year he started to gain weight and get lazy again. And
Zoe had the majors.
Yeah, Zoe was the most important center in the finals, actually, not Shaq. But that Shaq was not as good as the Shaq the year before. That Shaq was motivated, dude. That Shaq. So they've had all kinds of bad luck, and they've been able to overcome it. And so it's really cool to see that they're going to do this 3-day Wade celebration, February 21st through the 23rd. But I do want to remind you that Pat Riley, he deserves a week, all right? I know he won't allow us to do it now because that's who he is. You know what I'm saying? But that's the man we need to honor, bro. I mean, and I don't know. Maybe we should do something for Shula. You know what I'm saying?
He just had a birthday, turned 90.
I know he just turned 90. That's what I'm saying. These kind of guys, it's happened to us twice in this town with those two dudes. And they changed everything about the culture of sports when they were in charge. And Riley is the guy now, and the Heat is the team in town. While we are a football town, he has made us a basketball town. Okay? And that's a hell of an accomplishment. In fact, the fact that we are one of the highest rated NBA towns when the playoffs are going on, even when the Heat aren't even involved in the playoffs, we're one of the top. Okay? I could argue that making us care that much about basketball is a bigger accomplishment than winning any of those 3 titles. You know what I'm saying? So that in itself, to get all of us, pigskin heads involved in the basketball, it's pretty impressive. Okay? 786-322-1105 is the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in. NorCal says, I'm done when I can't roll one. Well, why can't you? Oh, I see. You're done when you can't roll one. Okay. All right. See, but NorCal, hold on a second. But you can vape, right? You could do this, okay? I just came up with an idea for you, NorCal, okay? Besides visiting my friends at VSS West Pines, okay? Go see Jose and all the guys out there at VSS West Pines. They will take care of you. They've got things so you don't have to roll. But I was thinking about this, okay? They've got the hat with the 2 beers, right? And the straws. Well, why can't you make that like 2 can bongs, right? Somebody loads it up with weed. They just put down the tubes to you. That's it. They spark it up.
Fire near your hair. You know how fast hair burns.
It's inside the can.
Yeah, but wind blow. Come on, that's a little. You're gonna have to.
It's inside the can. Just put it inside the can.
How are you gonna get fire to it? Remember that
sideways. You put a little hole in the side there and light it up.
Oh, you're like a pipe. You want to like.
I'm trying to be creative here,
I
bro.
see that.
I don't know.
I'm just thinking.
I'm not saying I have the contraption. I'm just saying you could come up with a way of coming up with that contraption.
Fire near your hair, not a good idea, bro.
You're high anyway. It doesn't matter, And it's not really near your head because it's on the helmet. So the helmet is between that and the. You know what I'm saying? So. Get an iron helmet. That way, the fire, don't get plastic. Key.
Get a fireman's helmet made out of leather.
There you go. There you go. So NorCal, there's your ideas. How about that? Don't they got the dab and the wax and all that other stuff, the oil? There you go, man. Plenty of options. Telling you. True Leaf. They'll take care of you. John Ross says, I always remember when Hank Goldberg said, be careful what you wish for people. Without Shula, we may become the Detroit Lions. And voila. Yep. Kelvin from Detroit listening. Love your show, bro. Fins up. Thank you, Kelvin. Appreciate you keeping it locked here. What else do we have here? My man also, and Kelvin says, big fan of yours since 560. Well, thank you, Kelvin. Appreciate you switching over to a real talk show. Love you. Should the Heat target the Greek Freak? He doesn't come cheap, or other free agents. My brother, anybody should target the Greek Freak. Money's not an issue. We're not talking about the Marlins here, okay? All right, we're talking about the Miami Heat. That's not going to be a problem to the money deal. They can overcome that. But the problem is acquiring him when you're already capped. And then you've got to unload salaries in order to open it up. That's the thing. That would be the challenge.
Before I forget, February 24th
yes,
and February 26th, they got home games. One is against Charlotte. The other is against Portland.
Okay. All right.
Go make fun of Hassan all night long.
I like it. I like it. Pat Boylan, by the way, Pacers sideline analyst, is going to be joining us at noon. So we'll talk a little Pacers and Heat with him in a half hour. We got a loaded show for you today. So we'll have the sideline analyst for the Pacers. So we'll talk a little Heat Pacers. At 1:30, my man Kobe Price from the Sun Sentinel is going to join us to talk a little Heat, get his thoughts on the Heat Pacers. And he wrote the story about the celebration for Wade. Michelle Kaufmann is going to stop by at 2 o'clock. We will have our Inter-Miami report. We'll also ask her about the loss last night to Louisville, kind of expected with the Miami Hurricanes. Theo Lawson is going to stop by at 2:30. And those of you are asking me, who the hell is Theo Lawson? What's that for? It's our NFL Draft Focus, ladies and gentlemen. And Anthony Gordon is going to be the target today. You know how we've been going around all across the country talking to different beat writers that cover these quarterbacks that are entering into the draft, quarterbacks that the Dolphins could be looking at in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh rounds, whatever, and figure we'd focus in on that. So Anthony Gordon from Washington State is going to join us, and Theo Lawson works for the Spokane Review, and he covers Washington State. So we will talk to Theo at 2:30 for our NFL Draft Focus. How about that? Big O, I'll visit your vape store for sure, but rolling one yourself is almost as good as cleaning. LOL. Cleaning what? Cleaning is not a good thing, bro. I mean, it's good to be
Maybe
clean.
Maybe he's thinking cleaning his green.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Grab Leaf Chief over here. What Leaf Chief? Is that like True Leaf? Like the brand down here that is a place where you can get your medical marijuana? Let's see, what else do we have on the Armed Ape says, greetings to all my peeps, and especially you, Mace. There you go. What about Anthony Davis as a free agent? Oh, we got to get into that one. I got some stuff I want to talk about with Anthony Davis. I do.
Can we have a moment of your time, sir?
Well, let's do this before we do anything. All right, let me tell you about Moody's Dental. And I was there yesterday with Eric. I am in my second stage of my Invisalign. And let me tell you something, folks. If you need to straighten out your teeth, Invisalign is the way to go. And at Moody's Dental, they are Invisalign and implant experts, okay? They are phenomenal at this. They use state-of-the-art equipment. So get on down there, get a free consultation, find out about it if you're a little embarrassed with your teeth. And I have not been happy with my bottom teeth because the one in the middle ended up like going back, and then the two on the side got stacked up in front of it. So I've got like one tooth and so it's getting a little darker than the other ones because stuff gets trapped, And so I have been disappointed about that because my bottom teeth needed to get kind of straightened out. So, and as you all know, healthier teeth, you have a healthier life. That is very, very, that is a fact. So call Moody S Dental, 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Tell them that Big O sent you. If you're looking to, hey, you need implants, you need a crown, you need a cavity filled, you need to clean your teeth. They do it all over there. Oh, the other thing I've been telling you guys for a while now, if you're going to get like a crown or you're going to get a what's that called when they take out the nerves and all that stuff and they
root canal.
Root canal. You know how you have to have a temporary? They don't do temporaries there. They make the tooth right there. They get the digital measurement, boom, and that's it. It's done. It's done. It's awesome. Call Moody S Dental, 305-821-0231, or go online to moodysdental.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
This is the Big O Show.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, welcome back. We take it till about 3. We got a loaded program for you here on the show. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. We will answer your questions there on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Anytime you're listening to the show live or the podcast, and you got a question on your mind, you got a comment, something I said, just send it in. Something I said that you disagree with and you think I'm a nutbag, which, hey, you're probably right. You can do that. Let me see what NorCal's got for me here on the chat board. He says, Big O and Bill, is it too early in the week to pick a 14 parlay money line, 49ers, Seahawks, Chiefs, and Ravens, scared of these big spreads? But I love your money line picks. I like them all to win. I would pick all of those right there. So that's not a bad bet. Go money line? Yeah. Why not? Go for it, dude. Yeah, you're responsible. You're not going to be, betting your house or anything like that. So, yeah, go for it. I don't think that's a bad thing right now. Money line. Now, opening, the lines where they're at right now, they might move a little bit. So that might be something. I got to look at them now. I haven't completely, been in tune with the money line here, or the spreads so far for these games. You know what? I can look at it right now for you and check it out. Let me see what we got on the spreads. What is the latest here? Let's see. We got Minnesoters and San Fran. San Fran favored by 7. That is a lot. But I like San Fran in the money line. I would take San Fran there. And then Baltimore against Tennessee. Of course, you got to like Baltimore in that game. I'll tell you this. If Tannehill goes out there and balls out and beats Baltimore, that's when I'll tell you, okay, I'm wrong. The kid turned some corner now. He showed me something here. Okay? That's where this is where the rubber meets the road now. Let's see. Because he's been unimpressive for the last 3 weeks. Last week he made 2 throws. That's it. Okay? Yeah, he made 2 good throws. It's awesome. But that's all he did. I mean, give me a break.
2 throws does not a game make.
No. So Baltimore's favored by 9.5 or 9. About 9.5 is probably the average. 47 is the over and under, or 46.5 in some places. Yeah, that's a big spread, but I like Baltimore to win by that because I think they'll get a turnover or 2 and turn it into points. So I can see that happening. They're going to stack that box, and they're more physical. They will limit Henry. They will not allow Henry to just, run roughshod all over him. Houston and Kansas City, KC is favored by 9.5. That's a lot of points. When you're talking, I actually would take Houston in this game. KC is going to win it, but by 10, no. It's Deshaun Watson, bro. That guy's money. He can make it a game. So you know what? I'm with you there, NorCal, on the money, on the lines here. And so far, money line, I agree with you on all 3. And then Seattle and Green Bay, I like Seattle too. And Green Bay is favored by 4 at home. That'll be interesting. Let's see. We shall find out. We shall find out. There you go. All right, 786-322-1105. In 2 weeks, Bill and I are going to be at the Senior Bowl, giving you wall-to-wall coverage like we've never done before. And we're going to be doing a lot of shows, a lot of interviews, a lot of content that you're going to get, a lot of draft content that you're going to get. We already got our list of players that we're set to interview at the East West Shrine also, which, by the way, East West Shrine has got a nice group of players. They got some guys that might even make it into the second day of the draft. Some guys that might cut into the 3rd round. So that I'm looking forward to that. But at the Senior Bowl, the good news is this is one of those years we're blessed because, Bill, the Dolphins need a quarterback, and Justin Herbert yesterday actually committed to the Senior Bowl. And I love this because I'm not a Justin Herbert guy, but I do want to see him now in this environment for a week because it might change my mind a little bit. I might see something from the kid and say, you know what, maybe that's not a bad guy to take a flyer on later on in the draft. I don't know if I would take him at 5, and I'm not a fan of his, but I want to see him for a week. I want to see how he, acts. I want to see how he carries himself. I want to see how he translates to guys that he hasn't played with. And he's playing with upper-level talent. all throughout. So that we'll see how he responds to that also. And I got pumped up about that because they already had a decent group of quarterbacks already as it is. Remember, Jordan Love is going to be there. Jalen Hurts is going to be there. And I'm not a Jalen Hurts guy, but again, I want to see him in this environment because they're not going to make him necessarily run around and play his game all the time. He's going to have to adjust and show some pocket presence. He's going to have to show some effectiveness from the pocket. So I find it really cool that I'm going to get to see Jalen Hurts there too. Anthony Gordon, the guy we're going to talk about today at 2:30 with Theo Lawson, the beat writer that covers him on a daily basis. Here's another young man that has a lot of the skill set that you need at the NFL level. The question is, can he fine-tune what he has to be that effective quarterback at the next level? He's at the Senior Bowl. Steven Montez, who we talked about yesterday on our draft focus. Here's a kid that has had a solid career, but he is raw. He has, some questions. So now we get to see him in that environment for a week. And then there's Shea Patterson from Michigan. Not a fan of Shea Patterson, but a guy that, I got to tell you, NFL people tell me they feel he has NFL skill set. Now, maybe it translates to just backup at best. I don't look at him as a starter, but it doesn't mean that he can't be a starter. Maybe he's a late bloomer. Maybe he figures it out down the line. You know what I mean? And we're going to be at the Senior Bowl, covering it wall to wall, all the practices, and we will have all kinds of interviews for you guys. Sometimes right on the field, sometimes over at our booth at the team hotel. But we will be having all kinds of video, audio for you. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page so you can get the notifications when we're going to go on live. And also on SoundCloud and iTunes and Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, so you can get the heads up when we get an interview, because we're not going to be doing what we're doing every day. There's no way I can sit there for 4 hours. I will not have time to sit there for 4 hours. I'm not telling you we won't do 4 hours throughout the entire day, or maybe even more. We might do that, but the sitting of 4 hours like we do practically every day, 11 to 3, Monday through Thursday. Remember, Fridays, it's 9 to 11 and then 1 to 4 because we have two different sponsors that we visit on those days. But we won't be able to do the straight 4 hours. So I may only do half an hour or an hour and a half, and then I got to go. And we got to race to a practice. We got to race somewhere else. Go eat some good gumbo.
My money's on us doing over 4 hours easily, okay?
Oh, a day, yeah,
My money's on
but
that.
not consecutive anymore. Not during those days that we're there. We will not be doing 4 hours consecutive. We will, you're right. We will probably give you more than 4 hours of material, and it will be heavy draft. While we're there, I got to be honest, I'm not really watching every Heat game, every second, and all that stuff. I actually leave them recorded in my house and then come back and watch them when I get home. Sometimes I'm available and I can sit at a bar and watch it, or sit on my, with my iPad in my room and watch the game. Sometimes it happens, but it'll be very draft intensive while we're out at those places. Okay? Because we will be talking about certain players, these linebackers, these running backs, this offensive lineman, this quarterback, whatever, and then talking about the needs for the Miami Dolphins. Okay? So that is what you can expect. But for us, this is pretty cool. I got to tell you that we are going to get to see a lot of the – and by the way, Nagy is still holding out hope that he can convince Joe Burrow to come in after the national championship game and join him at the Senior Bowl right at the end of the, it's the following week right after, because they play next Monday, and then he would report the following Monday a week later to the Senior Bowl. I don't know if he's going to do it. Now, remember, they've got a good group of quarterbacks. He could go so he can hang out, throw some in practice, do all the interviews, and don't play in the game. That way he doesn't risk any injury in the game. And in practice, they don't touch him anyway, so he's really not in much risk at all. But it gives him an opportunity to go meet with the teams, the ones early on. They get a feel for him. I mean, look, he's in the driver's seat. He's the number one pick, hands down. It's either him or Chase Young. Nobody's taking two above him. Okay, you're going to take this young man over anybody else. And if he balls out next Monday, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's the other thing. Let me tell you, if Joe Burrow commits to go to the Senior Bowl, remember, it's Louisiana. Okay? So it's a neighboring state. It's right there. That place is going to go nuts. Okay? Nuts. It's going to be, the practices will have the biggest buzz I've seen in a long, long time over at the Senior Bowl. So that'll be really, really cool if he does commit. Now, I mean, I know for us in the Dolphin Nation, it's, who cares? We don't have a shot at him. And listen, they don't, and they're not gonna be able to trade up either. Please, that's not gonna happen. Okay, what are you gonna do? But I see people already writing. Well, can they trade? They're not gonna be able. Cincinnati's not giving up the Ohio kid. There's no way they give up the Ohio kid. Okay, Cleveland did the same thing with the Kentucky quarterback that sucked. What his name? They took him number 1 overall. Tim Couch. Remember? And they took Couch number 1, and it didn't work out, but he was from that state. Brady Quinn was an Ohio kid too, and the Browns took him. It's, it's money in the bank. You get a guy from your home state, like LeBron going to the Cavs. That's just one of those. Hey, how come it's always Ohio? Damn. The hell is it? We've got all these examples, and it's always Ohio. Wow. Just thought about that. That's crazy. Let's see. Ty from the Bronx says, Hurts stock is rising because pro scouts are looking at him like a Lamar scheme QB. Well, they're going to be sorely depressed because he's not Lamar. Nobody moves like that. But if they want to try it, go ahead. Let's see. Any thoughts on the Brady Instagram post? You know what? That's a good idea. Let's switch gears here, and let's talk a little bit about the Brady Instagram post. For those of you that don't know, Brady put out an Instagram post, and he wanted to kind of tell everybody the message out there, where he stands mentally and all of that, because a lot of us are wondering, well, what's he going to do? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? We're playing the Clash song in our minds. Should I stay or should I go now? And I told you guys this. The best thing for him to do is to stay. The worst thing he can do is leave, because wherever you go, they got to now get to know you. You've got to now get to know everybody else. That's going to be a challenge. I don't think he has any intentions on leaving. I believe if he leaves, it's the last resort. I think he's done all of this to have leverage against Belichick. That's what I think he's doing. Like, no, I need this, and this to come back. And he knows the owner loves him, and so then it'll be the owner and him against Belichick. Same way in the whole Garoppolo situation, where the owner and Brady got their way, and Belichick had to ship out Garoppolo, where Belichick was probably already ready to make the move to the next guy. Because Belichick is good at getting off when the gravy is running dry. So, Tom Brady's message to all was, I just wanted to say to all of our fans, thank you. After a few days of reflection, I am so grateful and humbled by the unconditional support you have shown me the past 2 decades. Running out of that tunnel every week is a feeling that is hard to explain. I wish every season ended in a win, but that's not the nature of the sport or life. Nobody plays to lose, but the reward of working hard is just that, the work. I have been blessed to find a career I love, teammates who go to battle with me, an organization that believes in me, and fans who have been behind us every step of the way. Every one of us that works at Gillette Stadium strive to do their best, spent themselves at a worthy cause, and prepared to fail while daring greatly, like Teddy Roosevelt, and for that, we've been rewarded with something that the scoreboard won't show. The satisfaction of knowing we gave everything to each other in pursuit of a common goal. That is what team is all about. In both life and football, failure is inevitable. You don't always win. You can, however, learn from that failure. Pick yourself up with great enthusiasm. Place yourself in the arena again. And that's right where you'll find me, because I know I still have more to prove. He's not done. He's definitely playing again. I think he wants to play there in New England. I really do. But this is his way now, because if he was under contract, he could bitch, moan, and complain and say, I want this, I want that, and Belichick could say, yeah, I'll try, whatever. Now, Belichick will have to really prove if he wants him back, because he's going to have to do some of the things that Brady wants. And I'm sure Brady did not enjoy that this season he didn't have the weapons he normally has. He probably thought he didn't have enough help, which, by the way, he probably didn't have enough help. And now this message is out there, and there's no doubt in my mind that he is a guy that is motivated to prove maybe that not only that he has more, but that he can do things that nobody has ever done at this age. We'll find out. But the best way for him to approach this is by doing it in New England. I don't know if he's going to take off with Josh McDaniels, and if McDaniels is going to go somewhere else and take a job somewhere else. I'm not necessarily a McDaniels fan as a head coach. I know that he's done a magnificent job as an offensive coordinator, and I know that he has Brady's trust too. And maybe he trusts him enough that Brady would leave with him to whatever spot he's going to. I don't have any information on that. I don't have any insight on that whatsoever. I am guessing as much as anybody else. I don't know any more than you do, okay? But it just seems to me like he's a guy that at this point in his life, it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it my way. If not, I'm not going to do it. And that's where we're going to see what kind of loyalties lie between Belichick and Brady from here on out. You know, I have had actually a couple of opportunities right before I started this to maybe go back into regular radio. And after my, last experiences over the last 2 years of dealing with, just really seedy individuals and how bad the business is, I told my wife, I'm doing this. And if this doesn't work, then I'm done, and I'll go get another job, and I'll go into another career, but I can't work in regular radio anymore. It's just impossible. Although I lied to you when I told you that, Bill. The only thing that I might consider would be a rock DJ, just because I'd love to do that. That's the only thing that I would. But as in sports talk, I have no interest in being in terrestrial radio anymore. I can't trust the people anymore in terrestrial radio. They're too incompetent. And so I kind of feel what Brady feels right now of, okay, well, I'm going to do it my way or I'm not going to do it. And I think that's what he's going to do. If he doesn't do it his way with the Patriots, then he's going to find another team that wants him and will do it his way. And there'll be a team or two that is willing to bring him on for a year or two because he's a great quarterback still. He's not maybe what he used to be 5-10 years ago, but he's still better than anything we've had.
Worked pretty good for Peyton Manning in Denver.
Yeah, even when he wasn't working. Luckily for him, he had a hell of a team. Like I said, the Bears are waiting. The Bears are waiting. And I don't know how that does not become a thing, to be honest with you. If I'm the Bears, the second he becomes a free agent at midnight, bro, at 12:01, I'm calling his ass going, hey, Tom, come on over here. We got a line. We got a running game. We got weapons. We got a defense. We got everything you need to win. All we need is you, period.
Normally, I would say that is so not us, but we did go get Khalil Mack and do all that. So,
yeah, but it's not the Hallises anymore. Not the
no, but it's the same group. It's
the
is
McCaskies and all that.
It is the McCaskies.
No, but they're not meddling.
Pace is the guy.
Right, they're not meddling. They're not.
He's the one that went and got Khalil Mack. That's why. But
they're giving those people the green light to do what they have to do in order to win.
The only thing is us actually having a real quarterback.
I know it's weird.
You know?
I know. I get it. I mean, it's weird, but I'm telling you, man. And I've been saying it for a while.
If Brady was a linebacker, we'd go get Brady, right? That would be automatic. But,
Yeah, but it's weird because you do have weapons. It's not like we're not talking about Ditka's Bears like post McMahon that 9-6 games, 13-10. They couldn't score much. They were living on defense and running game and Neil Anderson, all that crap. That's not the Bears now. The Bears can light your ass up if they have a quarterback that can pass.
We do have some nice weapons. We really do.
Yeah, Miller,
like
Gabriel.
You pointed out, our offensive line is probably our weak link right now.
But they can actually draft this year line or sign a guy.
Exactly.
You know?
It's only a couple people.
If you add Brady, you're going to have a guy, the top lineman will go, oh, yeah, no, I'll go block for Brady because I only have to block for him for about a second and a half, maybe 1.8, and he's going to make the throw. He's going to make me work less. I love this guy. Let me go. I'm off. I mean, that's why they love Marino. Marino dropped back. The radar found it. Boom. And Richmond Webb's like, hey, he already delivered the ball? That's awesome. Yeah, I don't have to block anymore. It's a beautiful thing, man.
No, you're right. When people have a chance to get a ring, you'll take a little less money and you want to be in.
Bears, bro. That's what I would do. If I'm Brady, the Bears. Okay? If you're not going to stay in New England, okay? Which, again, it'll be really interesting. All right, we've hit the top of the hour here. Let me tell you about Choice Mortgage Bank because Michael Codsey and the amazing people at Choice Mortgage Bank, they know how to get it done. I mean, when you've been doing it for 25 years and you've earned the AAA plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, let me give you his personal cell number, folks, and support the folks that support our program. They are a proud sponsor of ours, and they're ready to help you. Here's the owner's personal cell, 561-441-2730, and they can get you into state rates under 3.5% right now. 3.5%. Let's get you out of that bad deal. Stop dealing with those sorry mortgage companies. Call Michael Codsey right now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
What's wrong with Bill about facts? Facts here? We got no facts here. Anyway, we're going to talk to Pat Boylan in just a minute here, Pacers radio Heat and sideline reporter, since the Heaters are getting ready to take on the Pacers tonight. And I got to tell you, man, this is probably one of the Heat is one of the best stories in the NBA. Okay? I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that the Heat is one of the best stories in the NBA. But right there with the Heat is the Pacers. It's such an awesome story. And without Oladipo and watching the growth of all these other players, and again, watching a coach get another opportunity that he deserves, finally, by the way, and getting the recognition, because he has been an awesome coach in the past. You know what? Let's get to Pat Boylan from the Pacers so we can talk a little bit about the Pacers. Tonight, taking on the Miami Heat. Pacers are 15-4 at home, 23-14 overall. So in other words, they're playing really, really well. Pat, good afternoon, my friend. Thank you for taking some time. I was just telling the audience that the Heat, we all know, is one of the best stories in the NBA. But I got to tell you something. The Pacers are right up there with them. We didn't expect the Pacers to be this good, and especially without Oladipo. How is it that they've been this good, my friend? Thank you for joining us.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I think you're dead on. I think if you look at, some of the most impressive stories in the NBA, I think most people look immediately at Miami, and then once again, Indiana doing what they're doing without Victor Oladipo, and they've now missed Malcolm Brogdon for a third of their year too, right. And that's probably their second best player or third best player also. Really ever since Nate McMillan took over, he's had just this kind of calm, consistent aura about him, and I think the players have really fed off of that, and it's maybe a little bit of what's going on in Miami too, where it doesn't totally matter who's on the floor. They have a tendency to perform. Now, you notice in some games, you struggle down the stretch without your best players, and obviously in the NBA, you need your stars with you. But, I think first and foremost, they've defended over Nate McMillan's tenure, and when you defend well, you give yourself a chance in a lot of games. And it's not the most exciting answer, but the ability for the second unit to go play with the starters and the third unit to come and fill some of those spots in the second unit, you've seen a lot of players really step up that have been called upon when they have, and then ultimately I think Domantas Sabonis has taken a huge step forward at the center position, a lot like I think what Bam is doing in Miami.
Pat, the part that baffles me is how the hell was Nate McMillan without a job? How was he not a head coach in the NBA forever now? How is it that guy would even get fired? Because he's done an excellent job wherever he's been. We all know, those of us that are old enough and you watched him as a player, he was a hard-ass, hard-nosed defender, one of the better defenders in the league, one of the best team players out there, the kind of guy that you knew could transition to coach because he had that kind of work ethic. The fact that guy's had to bounce around, it's baffling to me. And he has proven over and over again that he knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, he certainly has. That Portland team went through really a change of an era. He went through a lot of bad luck there, of course, with the Brandon Roy injury and everything that happened there. And they, for whatever reason, decided they wanted to, kind of hit the reset button and I think move on with a new coach. And the Pacers were fairly quickly able to scoop him up as an assistant under Frank Vogel, and he sat there for a few years. And then when Larry Bird, who was the general manager and president at the time, made the decision to move on from Frank Vogel, he had Nate McMillan sitting right there, and the Pacers do everything really quietly. You don't typically hear a lot around trade deadline and around if there is a coaching search, and that was the case a few years back. You didn't really hear a lot, and then all of a sudden it was Nate McMillan's the guy. And I think it was probably a fairly easy decision for Larry Bird. He had a guy who had a ton of experience, who's had a lot of success sitting on his bench. He knows the team, the city, the franchise, and all of that, and obviously it's turned out to be the right decision.
So where is Oladipo, my man? How far away is he? Because I know we're getting closer and closer for his return.
Yeah, I think the hope is, that it's within the next month's time or so. The team has not put a timeline on it. We've seen these reports from Wojnarowski, and I think they're confident it's getting closer. We get the chance to watch him a lot in practice, and he's doing just about everything. And so we will see maybe in a couple weeks, 3-4 weeks, that you will have him back on the floor. I think at some point the next step is the team will put out a timeline, but what we get to watch at practice, he participates in all of it. He regularly goes and practices with the Pacers G League affiliate in Fort Wayne, too, which I think is a good sign because they're ramping up his practice minutes, too. And the only thing that I'm really confident about this whole thing, because, again, the Pacers operate in a way that, information does not get out very often. They're being conservative with this, and I think for good reason. You've got a guy who you want to be the face of your franchise and one of the faces of your franchise for the next 4 to 5 plus years. And you don't need to rush him back and risk, further damaging anything that he's done by pushing him ahead a couple weeks. Could he play right now? Maybe. I don't know that answer. I would guess Timmy would maybe say yes. But if you hold him on for a few more weeks or even a month extra than he needs to, and you're able to get him, from 90 to 95%, then I think that's something the Pacers are very interested in doing. And it helps, as you talked about at the start of the show, The boat's not sinking right now. There have been stretches of play, and recently the Pacers have struggled a little more than they'd like to. But the boat has been kept afloat, and they're very much eagerly awaiting his return, but they're not desperate for it either.
My brother, if you were 14 and 23, he might be on the court. But you're 23 and 14, so it's so smart to hey, you know what? We're doing fine. Let's make sure he's 100%. And then when he joins the team is playing well. And hell, even without Brogdon, which you just mentioned, that's a huge loss. And let me tell you, the Holiday kid has been huge. How about Sabonis? How good has this guy turned out? I didn't expect him to be this good. Did you expect this good, Pat?
Well, I knew when the Pacers made that trade for Oladipo, for the Paul George trade back a few summers ago, that Domantas Sabonis, it wasn't that they didn't love Oladipo, they did, but Domantas Sabonis, when they looked at the secondary piece with a lot of these trades, I really think he was the one that maybe tipped that trade in their favor and ultimately ended up being the reason Indiana did that deal, because they really liked him, although at the time it would have been foolish for somebody that wasn't a scout to predict this kind of thing would have happened. He was a bit used incorrectly in Oklahoma City because, they had Westbrook and Oladipo and they didn't need a guy clogging up the paint. But ultimately, you watched him, especially last year. I think last year is when I started to get the idea that maybe he could be this type of player, because he was terrific off the bench, really strong, big-time rebounder. And it's like, well, what if you give this guy, what if you're able to give him 5 to 6 more minutes a game? Now, the challenge is you've got Miles Turner in the front court, too. And so the Pacers are sort of bucking a lot of conventional trends and wisdom by playing Turner and Oladipo, Turner and Sabonis together. But he's so consistent. I saw a stat the other day in terms of, how a player performs at their best and at their worst and how consistent they are. And he was in the top 5 in the NBA. And I think especially a team that doesn't have Oladipo and has missed Sabonis, has missed Brogdon for so long, a player like Sabonis being as consistent as he is, I think has been extremely valuable.
Yeah, I think, and Miami has had a smaller rotation lately with 8 guys. They haven't been playing Olynyk as much, and they got James Johnson back. I'm wondering, does Olynyk get more time today, or do they use James Johnson because of the 2 guys that you talked about? What do you think? Do you think he goes a little deeper with one of those guys to kind of combat and try to play defense against those 2 big guys?
I think in general what you're talking about is a fascinating chess match, because the Pacers see this pretty regularly, a team that wants to play small versus themselves, and who has to adjust to the other. Sometimes it's the Pacers. Sometimes you'll see Nate McMillan have to trot out lineups with only one of those bigs on the floor. I'd have to go back and look at the Miami game, but I think that might have been a case. I think Sabonis was not actually on the floor really late in that Miami win over Indiana a couple weeks ago, which was one of the better games I think the NBA's seen all year.
Yeah.
And so in that case, it was the Pacers feeling like they had to adjust to Miami. So a lot of times it kind of depends on who sets that initial tone and what's working well early, whether the Pacers can keep those 2 bigs out there for a consistent amount of time. But it's nice to have a player like Olynyk and a player like James Johnson on the bench and not necessarily have to play them, but if you do, these are veterans. These are guys you can trust, and these are guys you can count on. And if that is the case for Spoelstra tonight, you're getting players, I think, that are more than capable of handling their own in those situations, too, even if they're not quite at the caliber of the Pacers starting base.
Pat is with the Indiana Pacers radio team, of course, the host and sideline reporter. You can follow Pat on Twitter at Pat Boylan Pacers. Pat, the other thing that I find awesome and impressive about the Indiana franchise, period, it's not going to be a sexy free agent destination. And they know it. And so kind of like Utah, they're like, okay, well, we know we're not going to be luring people. Plus, they're not big on spending that kind of money like that in free agency. But they do the alternative. They're incredibly smart at drafting, trying to be crafty with trades, those kind of things to keep themselves ahead of the curve. And I find it really interesting how Indiana and teams like Utah, they have to be better than most at actually breaking it down when it comes to, drafting players and making trades. They cannot afford to make mistakes like the Lakers can, or the Knicks, or the Heat, or teams like that sometimes can erase things with a checkbook.
Yeah, I was just going to give that Lakers example because if the Pacers, you had gone through a few years of management like the Lakers had, they would be in a lot of trouble. But I think you look at really just the history of the Pacers, and Utah is I think, a really, really good comparison. Even recent history, the Pacers lost, Paul George, and they lost Gordon Hayward at the same time, and all was doom and gloom for the two franchises. And then Donovan Mitchell comes in Utah. They draft spectacularly well. The Pacers make this, really strong trade that gets them Oladipo and Sabonis. You go back to their history. They drafted Oladipo they drafted Paul George after 10, or at 10. They drafted Reggie Miller after 10. So they've also done it without having a ton of high draft picks. And recently, you look at some of these moves that Kevin Pritchard has made. It's been tough to find a move that hasn't worked for the Pacers. You're right. I mean, they're not. Malcolm Brogdon came over technically on a trade, but he was a restricted free agent, wanted to come here. Milwaukee wasn't able to re-sign him, so a deal was put together. He and David West are probably the two splashiest free agent, quote-unquote, free agent acquisitions the Pacers have made over the last decade, and yet they made it work. They drafted really well at the 10 to 25 area. They've been terrific in the trade market, and they've been able, to strike when the iron was hot, and Malcolm Brogdon is a great example of that. And when he came over, I think a lot of people weren't totally sure what he was because he was underutilized in Milwaukee for very good reason. They've got maybe the best player in the game over there, and so he was turned into more of a shooter. And the Pacers saw a player that they thought could be, a prime time point guard and a big time guard in this league, and kind of run that offense, especially without Oladipo. And that's another bet that they made that has completely paid off. But you're right. The Pacers' free agent history in terms of getting big names, David West might be the biggest, and yet Indiana has found different ways to compete, whether it's through the draft, whether it's through trading. And it's so much more important, obviously, because if you miss in those areas, you're not getting the free agent. You would really struggle.
No doubt. How's the buzz, Pat, for the team, and especially on a night like tonight when the Heat are going to be in town? That this is a marquee game in the NBA right now tonight. But I wonder how it is in that town right now for the Pacers.
No, the buzz is high, and it's really kind of been at a really high level since Victor Oladipo came over. I remember that first year, and it was, took everybody by surprise, and then year two sort of solidified that they were a really good team, and then here they go again with, the 23-14 record and missing so many of these guys. And so I think you're seeing a lot more people come into games being interested about what the Pacers are doing on a day-to-day basis versus more of a week-to-week basis, and it helps. That game in Miami a couple weeks ago was one of the best games all year long. Miami won it on a shot with like 5 seconds left, and then Aaron Holiday had a chance to win it himself and missed it too. But just in terms of entertaining basketball, that was like a 10 out of 10 kind of game. And so I think a lot of people saw that. We're expecting a good crowd tonight. The buzz here has been really, really high. I think there's excitement around what Sabonis is doing. Brogdon, if he can get back into the lineup, there's been a lot of excitement around him. And each day you kind of creep closer to this Victor Oladipo return, even though it's not totally sure when it's going to come. You just kind of feel the anticipation grow and grow a little bit more. And it'll be really exciting to see what it's like once he does come back, how the Pacers respond to him returning into the lineup, and the way the top 6 teams in the East are checking out from everybody, which obviously includes Miami. Milwaukee might check out from the rest of the 5, but there could be a really good battle in there for 2 through 6 the rest of the way. And, the difference between being a 2 or a 6 it's massive. And so those could be, I think you could see some really, really entertaining basketball from some of the top teams of the East in the final 2-3 months.
Pat Boylan joining us from the Pacers, and of course Pacers are hosting the Heat tonight. And you talked about Brogdon. I don't know if he returns or not, but again, great management. Holiday and T.J. McConnell, two guys that, I mean, that's like a really nice insurance policy that if Brogdon can't play, you got a couple guys that are true professionals really filling in, and Holiday has been a really nice addition.
He has. The Pacers drafted him a couple of years ago, and not a super high draft pick, but they were a little surprised he fell to him. And in year one last year, he showed flashes. He was really good at points. There were portions of the season where he wasn't playing. There were portions where they kind of relied on him. And this year, he's been asked to carry a much heavier load. And part of that has been because, unfortunately, Brogdon has been out more than the Pacers would like. He's still showing some of those signs of inconsistency. He had a couple of back-to-back games on the road where he struggled recently in Charlotte and the game before that. However, he's also had games. The Pacers played Toronto 3 weeks ago, and in that game, Indiana was down in the last couple of minutes, and he hit, I would say, 4, 5, 6, just really significant, meaningful shots down the stretch, got the game into overtime, and ultimately, in an arena where you had Kyle Lowry and Siakam was out, but Sabonis and Turner, it was the second-year pro who was the best player on the floor when it was most important and most necessary. And so he's still battling consistency issues. You'll see games where you go, wow, this guy could start in the NBA right now, and then you'll see games where, he really frustrates. However, he's ultimately, I think, somebody that the Pacers really look upon toward their future and say, this is a guy that hopefully is part of our core for a long time, and we like what we've got. And then T.J. McConnell, everybody knows his shortcomings. Not a great defender, doesn't have a ton of length, not a boatload of athleticism, but the guy just gets it done, and he's so consistent. He's a fantastic, fantastic passer, really good vision. And, you watch some of these guys in college basketball, and you say, okay, these are college players. These guys aren't going to end up NBA players. And you would watch him and you would say that, and yet it's fascinating to me how he's found a way to make that style not only work in the NBA, but there are games where the Pacers have leaned very, very heavily on him, and he's produced, and he's been, I think, a bit of an underrated signing. I think even in Indiana, where everybody here really respects the fundamentals and the passing and the dribbling aspects of the game, even when they signed him, I think he was a little under the radar because I saw him in Philadelphia, but okay, this probably is going to be a guy that plays major minutes for us, and yet he has, and he's been really, really strong, and at times carried the Pacers when they've had injury issues, and not only are you missing Brogdon and Oladipo, but they've had injuries to other guards back in the rotation, like an Edmund Sumner, and Jeremy Lamb has missed a handful of games too, where they've had to rely heavily on T.J. McConnell, and I would say so far the T.J. McConnell experience in Indiana has been a big success.
Yeah, no, I think to have those two guys like that while Brogdon's out, I think they do a nice job. And what you're talking about, Holiday, hell, he's a 41% shooter from three-point range. Now, against the Heat, he has shot 25%, so let's hope that continues tonight. Hopefully, no big Holiday night tonight against the Miami Heat. Should be interesting. Hey, Pat, thank you for taking some time, my man. We really appreciate it, especially on short notice. It's going to be a nice matchup tonight. Maybe we'll look you up when we're up there for the NFL Combine that week. I don't know. I wonder if you guys are home during that week. Are you guys home? You are?
They usually give us some home games during that time. I haven't looked at that week, but yeah, absolutely. If you guys are up here, would love to catch up and appreciate the time. This Pacers Heat game, as we were talking about, was so good in Miami. So I'm hoping that we get part 2 of that series, and who knows, maybe even we're seeing a couple of early episodes in what could be a playoff series come April or May.
Yep, you're right about that.
February 2-2, Charlotte, Tuesday night, Thursday night. 24 is the Trailblazers.
And after that?
Just those two at home during that week of the NFL Combine.
We're not there at the 22nd. It's the 24th through the 2nd.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
the day of the 24th?
That's it.
That's the only home game?
That's our only home.
Against who is it?
Against the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh,
we get to watch
Whiteside.
Clown Boy Whiteside.
Oh, Whiteside. There you go. So how about that? Listen, at that time, Pat, it's still cold in Indiana. So the good thing is we'll have Melo there shooting bricks, and before you know it, you and I will have a chimney so we can stay nice and warm. There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
There you go. It is interesting. I'm sure you guys have talked about it a lot. It's been fascinating how Whiteside is having a good year in Portland, at least statistically. But maybe no correlation there, but he has left Miami, and Miami's gotten a lot better, and Portland has really struggled following their Western Conference Finals season. And I just wonder if there's any correlation. I'm sure that's something you guys have
know what it is.
A lot more about.
You know what it is, Pat. It's all now that you were able to give Bam the time. Last year, Spo had him there, so he had to break up the time amongst three centers. Now, Bam's playing like an all-star because he's getting all the minutes. Hell, they've even limited Olynyk, along the way. So because Bam right now is he's a great story like Sabonis is. He has just become a great, a stat sheet filler, man. He does it all. Even for a big man, he's getting 4 or 5 assists a night. It's crazy.
No, he's been terrific, and I remember he was kind of in the Pacers neighborhood. We were looking at him as a potential draft pick when he came out of Kentucky, and it is so funny because in a lot of ways, Indianapolis and Miami are very, very different cities, and the Heat and the Pacers, are very different in terms of how they can build their type of rosters. But when you actually look at what both teams are achieving this year, how they're getting it done with young centers that potentially will play in this all-star game, and with teams that I think most people expected to be further down the pack, it is fascinating. There is a really significant parallel there.
Oh, wait a minute. I could go to another extreme for you, Pat. The Heat took a page out of the Pacers because the existence of Pat Riley is acquiring Tim and acquiring Zoe and acquiring Shaq and acquiring Mason when Zoe went down, and then acquiring, LeBron and Bosh and now Butler. Because of the bad decisions, Riley's been awesome, but he went through a little brain fart for 3 years where he signed Whiteside and Johnson and Tyler Johnson and what was the other bad contract? I'm forgetting now. Oh, Dion Waiters. And so they were kind of stuck in a rut, and they didn't have a lot of flexibility. And this past season, they had enough to at least get Butler, but they had to go unearth and mine talent, something they really never really do because they'd rather just buy established talent or trade for it. But they had to go mine Tyler, they had to go mine Duncan, they had to go mine Kendrick Nunn, and they had to draft and develop Bam. And they're trying to do it with Justice as a glue guy. But they've done things that the Pacers had to do because they were cap-strapped, whereas the Pacers are kind of strapped because of destination to young NBA players and all that crap that they, like to go to the sexy destinations. The Heat actually had to do what Utah and Indiana do for their existence. They had to say, you know what? We better scout our asses off. We better draft better. We better develop better because we don't have cap flexibility. That's it.
Yeah, no, I think you're dead on, and it's been amazing. I remember thinking a couple of years ago, the Heat have all these seasons close to 500, and their roster is capped out with guys like Tyler Johnson and Dion Waiters, as you noted, and being like, man, they're in some trouble, and obviously you always have the ability, if you can just free up enough space, to get a Jimmy Butler type over there. But it's been impressive because I think most teams that are gridlocked in the way the Heat at least appeared to be gridlocked the last few years would be stuck in that purgatory a little bit longer. And so you're right, the style that they have gotten out of that is very Pacers and Utah Jazz-esque, and I've been impressed with just how quickly this has happened. I thought, Miami might be like a 7 or an 8 this year, and then next year, maybe if they got another big acquisition or develop some guys, then they might make the jump that you're seeing this year. It's happened, in my opinion, a year quicker, at least 1 year ahead of schedule, and I think it just goes to show how well that the front office has done in the regards of doing those little things like drafting, scouting, signing the right guys. There's a lot of teams, that would love to have a Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn.
Oh,
those are names that very few people knew outside of if you followed college basketball going into these.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you and I think alike. I thought they were a 7 or 8 seed this year. I never saw any of this coming, dude. I even said the Butler move is not going to be a good move unless you go and trade for another star in the next year or two, because in years 3 and 4 of this deal, you may not be happy with it because Butler may be, a little bit more out of gas at that point, and you're paying him a lot of money at that point. What we're seeing now, I never thought it was going to happen, Pat. It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. It's certainly not this year, and it was if you could maybe build on Butler in another offseason. They've done it terrifically within. I think Bam's obviously been a big key to that, and I wouldn't know not being down there, but it's kind of interesting how maybe here for the first time you're getting Spoelstra's real first opportunity to shine. Obviously, he was under a massive spotlight that had the spotlight on all those other players in the early 2010s. And now for the first time, he had a year a few years ago where Miami really struggled in the first half, and then they rolled off some crazy finish to the season and just missed the playoffs. But this is almost the first time I think a lot of people maybe outside of Miami, and I'm not sure what his opinion is there, but I think a lot of people outside of Miami are going, this guy's a really good coach, and I think that's starting to resonate to the casual fan outside of Florida.
No doubt. Follow him on Twitter at Pat Boylan Pacers. Pat, thank you for taking some time. Great insight, my friend. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Beers on me during the combine. Be good, my brother.
I'm in.
All right, there you go. Pat Boylan from the Pacers, man. Good stuff there. Great conversation. Good to talk a little basketball. Looking forward to the game time. This is one of those games where I can't wait for it. It's like, because it's a heavyweight battle in the Eastern Conference. It's two of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. It's another measuring stick, and they're a gritty team, and it's going to be tough. Question is,
traditionally they are probably our biggest rival. They give us the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Over the years. Yeah. Indiana, man.
Oh, they're always a good franchise.
They do things the right way.
Well,
man.
it's like it's one of them.
Yeah.
The example I gave of them in Utah.
No doubt.
They are completely opposite of Miami and Los Angeles and Houston and Chicago and New York and places that spend money and they're sexy to young NBA players. Young NBA players don't want to live in Utah. They don't want to live in Indiana. They don't. And let me tell you, it's a cool little downtown area, Indiana. But I get it. If you want big city, it's not the big city. But it's actually a cool – you'll see. You've never been to Indiana. You will be this year. But it's a cool –
I've driven by it. That's about it.
It's cool, man. It's not – I enjoy it every year that I go, and I go for several days. And I think it's a cool area. But I get it. If you're young and hip – you want to go to big towns. It's understandable. All right, let's take a quick break here. Let's tell you about Caneswear. We love talking about Caneswear. And, of course, Brett and all the amazing people at Caneswear. Listen, are you looking for a jersey, a starter's jacket, T-shirts? They've got all kinds of Canes T-shirts. In fact, over 100 in stock. They've got autographed items, too. So get on down to Caneswear. They've got Dolphins, Panthers, Marlins, Heat, and even Inter Miami, too. They've got the T-shirts out there. Jerseys are coming. Once they release the jerseys, they will have the jerseys, both styles. So get on down to Caneswear. Go to the website, caneswear.com. Order online. If you order over $99, free shipping. So if you live too far from Caneswear, you can have it delivered to your house within a couple days, man. Call them, check it out. Go to caneswear.com. Follow them on Twitter at Canes_wear.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We are back and rocking. Appreciate you all out there as locking it in on the podcast, on the live broadcast. As always, we appreciate it. And you can chime in here on the YouTube chat board. You can also reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. At 1:30, Kobe Price is going to join us. So in a little less than an hour, we'll talk to Kobe Price from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. We'll talk a little Heat basketball with him. Speaking of basketball, and let's talk a little bit about Anthony Davis. Yesterday, and this is a game I lost yesterday, actually. I had the I took the over.
You played the over, I know.
Yes, the Knicks Lakers, right?
Seemed like the Knicks didn't chime in. They were like 54 to 80 something.
Yeah, but it was pacing for a short time, and then he got injured and he took that fall. And by the way, he had an MRI which came back negative, and it's just a bruised back, but he was walking, gingerly off the court. And the thing that I would tell you that when I saw that, I thought right away of him turning down the contract earlier in the day. So here's a guy that is often injured, okay? And by the way, when people tell you, well, if you look at the games missed, no. You can't just look at the games missed. You got to look at also the games he leaves, like last night, which he does this all the time. This is not the first game he's left already in the Lakers season. And I got to tell you something. I know that he can wait for a $205 million 5-year max deal. But he turned down a four-year, $146 million deal yesterday. And he says he's going to hit free agency. Now, remember, his agent is LeBron's agent. So this is all weird, too, in a way, because you would figure that he went there because he's going to stay there. I don't know. I don't know what his relationship is like with LeBron. I don't know if this is just posturing. There really isn't much negotiations going on. It's a max deal is a max deal. Now, he can't get that 205 from somebody else. I think it's like 150 he has to settle for, so it'll be $50 million less. But my point is, if you're Anthony Davis and you're injury prone as hell, how do you not take that money already? I know you want to hold out, but man, this should have been a reminder what happened last night. Because this is a fragile dude. This is also another reason why I picked the Clippers over the Lakers. The Lakers are not pacing themselves. Whereas the Clippers, Kawhi's like, no, dude. I'm going to play my game. I'm going to rest. Paul George is going to also rest. We're gonna alternate. We're going to and let me see, I can look at the standings right now if you want. And they're fine in the standings. They're right up there. They don't need to panic. They're not number one like the Lakers are, but the Lakers might be limping into the playoffs if they don't pace themselves. And I get it that LeBron came in motivated and he had a terrible year last year, was out of the playoffs, and he wants to prove to the world and all that, so he's coming out, and they're 30-7. And the Clippers are 26-12. They're 4.5 games behind. Just pacing themselves. Right there. They're staying within striking distance. And let me tell you, the Lakers have a prolonged injury to LeBron or to Anthony Davis, and you're going to see them fall in the standings. I saw that yesterday, and when the first thing I thought of was, dude, you just turned down $150 million guaranteed. I mean, as injury prone as you are, I don't know if you should be doing that. You're going to make other money anyways on the side with sponsors and things like that. So you can make up that $50 million somewhere. Listen, $150 million, $200 million, I get it, there's a difference, but you should be able to live off fine from that for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to be stupid with the money, like let's say a guy like Antonio Brown, right? I mean, Antonio Brown ends up broke. Is there any doubt in your mind that Antonio Brown ends up broke?
When you're tearing up hotel rooms, apartment buildings, throwing couches off of balconies.
Didn't you hear that he went to I know he doesn't pay half the people that work for him, but still.
That's how he saves all his money.
But he went to the Saints with an entourage. You had to pay for that entourage. They're not paying for themselves. And you're like out of work and you have an entourage and you're spending all this money and rap videos and all this stuff is costing him money. Lawyers are costing him money. He will end. This will be a sad story, guaranteed. But Anthony Davis is a smart guy. He's not one of those guys. Okay? Take the money. Wow. A guy like that fragile, that's the thing that came to my mind yesterday. When I'm watching that injury, I'm like, dude, you just turned down 150. Your fragile ass is not really in position to be turning down 150. Take it, dude. That'll help keep your unibrow trimmed for the rest of your life. Trust me. You'll be fine. What? You want to turn down $146 million? Okay. Roll the dice. Roll the dice on that fragile little body of yours. Well, go ahead. 130, Kobe Price. He's not fragile. No. Kobe's a tough guy. Anthony Davis can learn a lot from Kobe Price. Kobe covers FAU. He covers UM. He covers the Heat. He covers the Dolphins, the Marlins, the Panthers. He's waiting for Inter Miami to start. He'll cover them too. He's a tough guy. Anthony Davis, not so tough. Not so tough. Take the $150 million, Anthony Davis. I'm telling you. All right. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. And then, of course, call Bobby Nunez if you need some help. Trust me, he is the man. I appreciate Bobby Nunez and being a proud sponsor of our program. Reminder, tomorrow we're going to be at Toyota of Hollywood. Why? Because we're at Toyota of Hollywood every Thursday now from 11 to 3. How about that? So if you happen to be in the Hollywood area, bring me some Dandy Donuts. Come on by. Mojo's close by. You want to bring me Mojo Donuts? I'll take them too. Right? You're going to complain? Dandy or Mojo? You're going to complain? No?
Neither. I'm good.
Okay.
Please, just bring them.
Just want to make sure that we got to make Bill
glazed donuts.
Yes, glazed. So we're in Hollywood tomorrow, 11 to 3. So come on by and say hi. We would love to see you out there. I'll be out there in my beautiful Camry XSE. God, I love that car. Man, that car is fun to drive. Such a good car and comfortable. Drives so smooth. Man, that was a good purchase. That was a really good purchase on my part. Man, it's awesome. But anyway, we will be out there. Friday, we got 2 shows, okay? Every Friday, 2 shows. Friday, we're at Craig's Inn, Acura of Pembroke Pines. We'll be broadcasting from 9 to 11 there every Friday. Then we move over to Hialeah Park, and we do 1 to 4 over at Hialeah Park. And I believe this is our last week at the Champion Simulcast Center, correct? I think. So we will be at the Champion Simulcast Center plunging our guts out. We won some last week. Didn't really bet. I did bet a horse or two the week before, didn't win. But last week did win a couple. So we'll be out there. You can have fun. Come on out there. Bet the horses with us, man. Talk some sports during our short breaks. You know what I mean? What was it? Yesterday I closed out the show, and Bill goes to me, you know that you talked for a straight hour, that you didn't take a break in the last hour. I had no idea that I didn't take a break for an hour yesterday. The 4th hour was straight talk all the way through. See if you're going to get straight talk anywhere on the dial. Oh, we had Pat Boylan on for like 25 minutes, that interview, talking everything Pacers and Heat. You think you're going to get a thorough interview? No, dude. They hurry you up in 8 or 9 minutes because they got to get another 8 or 9 minute break. You want real sports talk? You tune in here every single day. You get like a legit 4 hours of sports talk. You know that in regular radio is like 8 hours. So you could take your own breaks while you're listening to us, and it'll be like a whole day. That's all. I mean, considering what our producers, the work that our producers put in to this show every single day, that's it makes it nice and easy for you guys as they break it down into segments, which is a beautiful thing. Armed Ape says, much better format. Oh, hell yeah. For the listener, it's way better, man. We give you a couple mentions because we have to have some, we have to have sponsors. We need to survive.
Got to pay the bills.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely. And this is how we get to go to the East-West Shrine and the Senior Bowl and cover it for you guys and all that. That's why you support us by downloads. You support us by supporting our sponsors and things like that, and tell them that we sent you. These are all big. So we can grow, and we can cover more things. I want to cover more things next year, but that's as we grow. We will travel even more because I want to be the show, and I want to create also, we're all meeting in Vegas. Well, I want to start to see if we get something going on where we all create our own trips together. The show goes out on the road, Final Four, something big boxing match in Vegas. We all go, big MMA match, we all fly out, big groups, Super Bowl, go all fly out, things like that. NBA Finals, go out, plunge our guts. It's a beautiful thing. We'll think of different things to do together, and we'll get it all, and we'll get packages and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we want to do. We want to grow together, all of us here, and grow the audience. And this is your show. That's the idea. You know, this is the show that wants to connect with the listeners. That's why we're going to go out to the MetLife takeover next year for the Dolphins and the Jets. We're going to broadcast in the middle of that craziness because that's what we want to do. Those are the things we want. We're going to go back out to Vegas. I mean, if I didn't, Bill would kill me. But, you know, we're going to go out to Vegas again for the Raiders game against the Dolphins next year. We'll go out there for that week. You know, all these kind of things we want to add to the program. But obviously we need your help in order to get it done.
Crocus is going to cooperate with us, and the week we play at Denver, Crocus is going to be out there.
Yep, that would be nice. My thoughts on the Instagram post: he should retire. He'll be 43 years old next year. His talent is in decline, and he's terrified to get hit in the pocket. He should walk off while he has his health. Nico, you are 1,000% right. He should do that, but he's not. And we've seen this before, the athlete that wants to hang on. Okay? Ty from the Bronx says, Herbert, Hurts, and Burrow all going to the Senior Bowl. Love is the man. No, not Burrow, not yet. Unless there's something that broke about Joe Burrow. I haven't seen it. But Joe Burrow has not committed to – Joe Burrow, you won't hear anything about him going to the Senior Bowl till after Monday. Okay? Tuesday or Wednesday, you will hear if Burrow says, no, I'm not going. Yes, I'm going. He's not going to announce this, at least I don't believe, before the Senior Bowl, unless I'm wrong here and you guys know something that he already announced it. I haven't seen anything while I'm doing the show. But if you know something, fill me in here. Armed Ape says, does Belichick stand for this? And does he getting rid of people before the juice runs out includes himself? That's why I'm telling you. We're going to find out about how much these guys really love each other. Ian from Brooklyn says, Brady looks like a wrapped mummy out there. Walk off into the sunset for Pete's sake. You know, it's cool for Brady to walk out now if he wants to. The guy doesn't need to prove anything else. But I got to tell you something. Can I give Doll fans a scenario out there? The perfect scenario. Okay? Brady wants to come back. All right, it's great. Come on back, dude. Go to the Patriots. Maybe they lose it, man. Maybe they're not that good again next year. Maybe they take another step back thinking that they were going to. Maybe Brady takes another step back because father time continues to catch up to him. Reflexes are slower. Arms not as strong. All those kind of things. And how about this? How about maybe the Dolphins improve and not just take one in Foxborough, but take the one also here? And while Miami started the demise of the Patriots this past season, because it wasn't Tennessee and Derrick Henry, because the more impressive win is Miami in Foxborough than Tennessee in Foxborough. Tennessee's got a guy that runs for 200 yards a game, dude. There's a reason why New England lost. You tell me the reason why New England lost to Miami. That's more impressive. Miami is the one that started the demise. If Brady wants to come back, and if the Dolphins make the right moves next year, maybe they stick it to Brady twice next year. And maybe it's Miami that forces Brady the hell out of football. I got to tell you, I would enjoy a little bit of that. Okay? I don't mean anything bad to the guy and all that stuff. I don't want to hurt him. I don't wish that on anybody. Okay? But I wouldn't mind the Dolphins kicking their ass a couple times next year. I wouldn't mind them being the heavyweight champ that slipped, that is no longer got that power anymore, is getting clobbered now, getting embarrassed in the ring. I wouldn't mind that. So if Brady's getting older, if he's slipping a little, he's slipping, he's falling, he can't get up. He can't get back on his feet so he can tear up. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. There's a part of me that would take a little pleasure in that. That if he does come back and the Dolphins can really get the best of him next year, I would kind of enjoy it. I know Ted Johnson was enjoying stealing signs from Dan Marino at the end of his career. I would love payback, baby. I mean, think about it. Do you want him to walk away and you haven't spanked him enough? I kind of enjoy this. Yeah, come on back. Maybe the Dolphins can add the knockout punch to your career. So there you go. Listen, the Dolphins aren't supposed to win anyway, and they won this year. So who's to say they don't get better next year? Just a little thought. That's all. Just something to think about. 786-322-1105. Folks, don't forget the National Horse Players Championship qualifier is coming to Hialeah Park on January 12th. That's this Sunday. And Bill and I, by the way, are going to be broadcasting out there from 11 to 1. Okay? We'll be out there, and we'll be watching people wager their guts out because there's $10,000 that they are awarding. Not only could you win in your bets, but if you're really good and you win the first place prize, $5,000 and a trip to Vegas and a seat in the NHC. Oh, by the way, that includes hotel and airfare, your trip to Vegas. Now, it is February 7th through the 9th at Bally's this year. But the winner will have the option. You can go to this year's tournament or 2021. So just in case you already have plans in February and you can't go, you have a year to then get it straight with your job or whatever, so you can then go and set it up for yourself. How about that? That's really cool, giving you the option to go to the championship of the NHC either this year or next year. So save the date. It's this Sunday, the 12th. Go to HialeahPark.com. Find out more. Your chance to win a seat in the Las Vegas Finals. Your chance to win $5,000. They're awarding money first through fourth place. Even fourth place gets $1,000. So if you're pretty good at this, even if you're not good at this, you could probably win, okay? So get on down there, and we will be at the Champions Simulcast Center at Hialeah Park. We'll be out there this Friday, 1 to 4, and then Sunday again from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at HialeahParkCasino.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, we are back. Ready to rock. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786 322 mon 1105. That's 786 322 1105. On a lighter side, on the Michael K show, they had Larry David. And Larry, if for those of you that watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's obviously a hilarious show. I've watched it over the years. And so Larry David was on with Michael K. And he's a huge Jets fan, right? And he talks about how he has had contact with the Jets front office and some of his exchanges over the years with the Jets front office.
I found this out today, but you are actually a part of the Jets hierarchy. And I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Mike Tannenbaum was on with our 10 to 1 show today. And when he got hired as the GM of the Jets, you don't even know this, Peter, this is what he said about an interaction with Larry David.
2006, my first year as general manager, about 5 days before the draft, phone rings. My assistant comes in and says, Larry David's on the phone. I'm like, get out of here. Larry David's on the phone. Larry David's on the phone for you. Pick it up. Mike, this is Larry. You got to draft Reggie Bush. You have to draft him. So, long story short, we had a great conversation. I'm like, Larry, we'd love to send you some Jet stuff. And, what size are you? And he like, puts me on hold, covers up the phone. It's like, Dolores, what size am I? Am I large? Am I, totally in character. That's crazy. Long story short, we hit it off. We go out there. We spend the day with him. And he is one of these guys that literally will drive a Toyota Prius to his private plane. And we're leaving him. And we're like, Larry, what are you doing tonight? He's like, I got invited to a bowling party, but I hate the shoes. The shoes, they're dirty. Other people wear them. He was totally, his life is his character. He was as authentic as you could be, and he's a huge Jets fan. So when he's on today, make sure you ask him about what, his thoughts are on Coach Gase and Sam Darnold.
All right, so first of all, they didn't listen to you about Bush.
No,
sad. It's very sad.
No, that was a good draft for them, by the way. Ferguson, DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, and Nick Mangold. Yeah.
Now, have you had any Joe Douglas interaction? Have you called the Joe Douglas?
No, I haven't reached out to Joe.
You should. He's tremendous.
Yeah, but I did call Mike McCagnon before the 2018 draft, and I recommended that he draft Lamar Jackson. I have a witness.
Really?
Yes, I have a witness.
And what did he say to you when you said that?
He kind of gave me the most condescending.
Really? Wow. Yeah. So you actually told him that?
Yeah, I told him that. And he laughed at me, but who can blame him? Nobody thought Jackson was going to be
Except for the Ravens.
Except for the Ravens.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on Gase?
I can't take the hat. I can't take a coach wearing a hat constantly. He tells me that there's something about him. He's not comfortable with himself. Because when I started doing stand-up, I wasn't comfortable, and I started putting a hat on because it gave me like a different persona, a different character, because I was hiding. That's what he's doing. He's hiding. Either he's hiding baldness, or there's something about his personality that he's uncomfortable with. But you can't trust a man who wears a hat. He's got to take the hat off. He's got to face the public. He's got to be out there. Get rid of the hat.
Well, but he has it so close to his eyes, I think he's trying to hide the eyes. You know, the eyes. We play this whenever we talk about him, thanks to you.
Yeah. All right, crazy ass killer. All right, crazy ass killer.
He's crazy ass killer. We think he's covering the eyes because he got ripped in his initial press conference.
Yeah.
Remember the following the taco? Remember that meme?
I remember, yeah.
He is the same guy in his show and in real life. It's the same character. There's no doubt about it. You can just tell that he doesn't have to act, actually, basically. But it's a character most of us love that watch the show. But it's funny how Gase is that. He turns everybody off eventually. Eventually, people figure it out and they see what kind of a phony he is. And Larry is. he's right to a certain extent about the eyes and all that stuff, and that you're obviously ashamed. And yeah, when he came in the introductory press conference, that was freaking hilarious. I mean, the person that made the taco video and with the Celine Dion music and all, I mean, that was just genius. It was awesome. But how about you being a fan and you have access to the general manager? Think about all of you out there that you could have picked up the phone one day and called Jeff Ireland. And you could pick up the phone right now and call Chris Greer if you want. Can you imagine if you could call Pat Riley? Right? No, whatever you do, don't sign Whiteside. And that's the other thing. You're a GM, right? And you're in New York. And your secretary comes in and says, Larry David is on the phone. That Tannenbaum's right. The first, get out of here. Come on, you're BSing me. Why is Larry David going to call me? Even an NFL general manager's thinking, why the hell would that guy call me? That guy's way more known than I am. He doesn't need anything from me. And he's calling you to tell you, draft Reggie Bush.
The Jets have been a comedic organization. He might need some material.
Well, apparently
how about that?
Apparently he's a pretty good GM. Although he was right, Mangold and DeBrickashaw Ferguson in that draft is it's as good as it gets. I remember watching Brick at the Senior Bowl, and I was like, wow, the footwork was awesome. Awesome. It was like watching Ryan Khalil, like lock the technique he had locking people in. I was like, wow, this guy's going to be a stud in the next level. Because it was just Mark Dixon had that. Mark Dixon had this impeccable technique that he could just lock his hands inside of you and guide your ass out. And just your momentum, he'd just keep taking you with him. Oh, you're trying to go to the left? He'll keep pushing you even farther to the left out. As he just had the strength and the technique down pat, man. And Khalil was like that. DeBrickashaw, I remember when I first saw him at the Senior Bowl, I was like, holy crap, this guy moves like he's a gazelle. It's hard to get, like, he's going to be able to slide no matter who is rushing him. And sure enough, he was a very good offensive lineman for a long time. So that draft didn't, Larry had a good pick, but the ones that they got were definitely fine. Now, like he said, he wanted them to draft Lamar, which, again, nobody outside of Baltimore, because I don't believe anybody else was going to go to the extreme Baltimore has gone to accommodate Lamar and to make it work. That's why Baltimore deserves all the freaking credit in the world, man. That's for an organization to go out on a limb like that and say, okay, this will work when nobody's done it. Takes a lot of balls, man. Takes a lot of balls, because that's your job. That's your ass on the line. And you're going to look foolish because, one, you're failing doing something that no one else does. Now, when you succeed, you will now motivate others to try to do what you're doing. And that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a player that people are going to look at and they're going to think he's Lamar-like, and that they're going to be able to do it with their offense. And they're probably going to fail. Just like Miami, the Dolphins, your beloved Dolphins, will be inspiring others after next season to do what they did. You'll see. Because if Miami next year takes another step forward and looks like that team on the rise, because this year is not on the rise. This year is just flukish. This year is just, okay, you turned over the roster and you still won 5 games. Nobody's going to believe you, right? And even I said, as impressed as I am, I need him to come back next year and do this again to kind of put the nail on the coffin to say, we got the guy. This is the coach that we've been looking for a long time, right? So that's where you're at, that you got to kind of in a wait-and-see mode. But I tell you, If Miami has that success next year in the offseason of 2021, you will see a team or two drastically doing what Miami did, tearing it all the way down to the bone and rebuilding through youth. Because remember, that's what nobody's done that. You realize that. Plenty of other teams have rebuilt, but they all rebuild with a mixture of veteran players and young players. Not Miami. Miami's the only team that I remember that went brutally young all the way through pretty much. Very few spots that they had old guys outside of quarterback. There aren't a lot of guys on the rest of the team that were actually aged veterans. That tells you all you need to know about, but nobody's done that, and they won 5 games. So all the teams that had veterans with some young guys and they won less or barely more, 1 or 2 more, you look pretty bad compared to Miami. So next year, if Miami comes back and they kick ass, you'll see. And I'm talking about kicking ass is what I mean is they go to 8 or 9 games from 5. And like, whoa, wait a minute. You turned it around quickly here. And then everybody's going to expect you to be in the playoffs in that 3rd year. That's when teams are going to go, no, wait a minute. Look what Miami's doing, and they've turned it around quickly. We got to do the same thing. That's going to happen. You'll see. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Larry David, by the way, is also a fan of sports talk too. He would love to have a sports talk job.
I have to admit, other than you guys, I have a pretty good job, but nobody can beat this job that you have. This job, this is, as the kids say, sick. You know, I mean, this is insane. You come here, you talk about sports. It's crazy, crazy.
You would do this job
in a second.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no boss in there. He would hire you in a second.
The GM's waiting right there. That Gentile man right there, Tim McCarthy.
Can you imagine Larry David doing sports talk? That would be pretty cool. That would be fun. I mean, the way he knows how to complain and all that stuff. Oh, man. And the things that he probably would come up with, that would be entertaining. I don't know if he has the time for it. Well, I mean, apparently in that interview, I found out an interesting nugget. Did you know that the 10 seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm has taken 20 years to film? That's how many hiatuses they've had. In fact, I think he was talking about between season 5 and 8 was like 5 years. Or season 5 and 6, I think was 5 years or something like that. I forgot what number exactly, but I think it was 5 and 6 or 6 and 7 or something like. I forgot what he said, but 20 years it's taken to film all 10 years of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's pretty amazing, man. So he's had a lot of off time, and during that time he can actually do a talk show. Now I'm sure he's got more time now on his hands. Maybe he wants to switch over to talk radio. That would be a funny thing. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Don't forget that we're proudly brought to you by Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. And, folks, they got some great 2020 lease features going on right now. The ILX is $209, the TLX $239, the RDX $339, the MDX $349, only $29.99 to its signing, plus tax tag and registration, folks. Tell them that Big O sent you. Get on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines, and, of course, tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you, Larry Schlossberg and Tony Stampone and Pat Nasto, all these great guys are going to take care of you at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. Now, The other thing that's been in, it's past development now. It's going to actually air is the Aaron Hernandez documentary, and it's called It's called "Killer Inside Mind of a Killer." Okay, and you know what? I did not write down the date, but let me give you the preview of Aaron Hernandez and the documentary on Netflix.
I have to admit, other than you guys, I have a pretty good job.
I don't think
Nobody
that's
can
it
beat
right
this.
there. Okay, I'm pretty sure.
Unless Larry David's become part of that Netflix show.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But let's try it again.
No one has allegedly murdered 2 people and then played an entire season as a professional athlete.
I can't wait to be free.
I'm Aaron Hernandez from Bristol, Connecticut. I play at Bristol Central High School.
Aaron Hernandez was a different level of athlete.
He was kind.
He wasn't someone who picked on other kids.
He's one of the best players in America. Get him the ball.
The Patriots reward him with a $40 million contract.
Aaron Hernandez was a ticking time bomb. The why is the story here.
He was out to prove something, like a tough guy all the time.
He had a second residence.
The flop house. He had trouble with drugs, with guns.
Aaron was absolutely operating on the edge.
New England Patriot Aaron Hernandez was arrested this morning at his residence.
Aaron was accused of murdering Odin Lloyd, his future brother-in-law.
How can an individual who has everything get involved in something like this?
I was the happiest little kid in the world, and you fucked me up.
I ain't living with that.
You did. I had nobody. What do you think I was gonna do? Become a perfect angel?
Aaron was extremely terrified of his father.
Violent outbursts were not uncommon in the Hernandez home.
Aaron had a history of concussion-related injuries.
At the drop of a hat, he became angry and violent.
He had everything and threw it all away. We had to hide what we were. He was in such denial.
Aaron had reason to fear for his own life.
I wanted revenge.
None of it makes sense.
The story is not just the Aaron Hernandez story. There's a lot of lives affected by this guy.
Had to be shocked for all your teammates.
Next question.
I'm gonna explode.
I love how the end of that is when they're asking Gronk about him, and he says, next question. Remember, his agent is Drew Rosenhaus. So that was his line on next question in the whole TO thing back in the day, and that became a saying, next question. And they kind of close it out with Gronk. Obviously, they're asking about, two polar opposites, right? Gronk is never a murderer or a criminal or anything like that. But Gronk can party and have some fun and, maybe get in that kind of trouble, but not the kind of trouble that this animal was a part of. And listen, that he's passed away, I'm sorry if I'm not going to speak about him in any kind of glowing terms or I'm going to have any kind of sympathy for him because I don't. Okay? I just don't have sympathy for people like that. Sorry. I don't. That's not the kind of guy that is the kind of guy. The problem is I am going to be intrigued to watch this, okay? Because there are so many layers to everything that's going on. Because listen to a lot of the audio, right? Talking about a guy that murdered 2 people, then went on to go play in a season, okay? We're talking, you saw the Urban Meyer, you heard the cut, best player in America, you got to get him the ball. Somebody else talking about what kind of time bomb he is. His alleged boyfriend saying we had to hide what we were. Okay, all of these things that are going on. And I tell you because that's where when you look at this whole story, think about it. It's a crazy story, man. This is one of those stories that We've never seen anything like this before. And if it happened, we don't even know about it that it ever occurred. Think about this. We find out about a guy that plays football and is killing people on his off time. Seriously? This is a guy that is playing in the NFL, dealing with shady people, drugs, whatever, and we don't know exactly the stories of what he was trying to hide. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you gotta that's where I'm intrigued, is all the things that he tried, what he was doing illegally while he was playing for the Patriots, what his social life was, because obviously there was a lot of things going on in his social life, whether it was with his girlfriend or his boyfriend or his friends finding out about his, extracurricular activities. Again, not that there's anything wrong with that, but in his world, apparently he did not want to share that part of his life. He didn't think it was something that he could share of who he was. And then whatever demons that this guy obviously was living with. It's going to be an interesting documentary. I'm not going to take it from a point of sympathy or any of that. And, you hear at the end, like, what kind of person did you think I was going to turn into and all that other stuff. Listen, lots of us in life are handed things that are unfair. Wade had a mom that was a crack addict. And while he's in elementary, he's trying to figure things out. And his mom is out there, what's it called? Doing crack at night. And he's an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old or whatever, and he has to wait for his mom to come back at 1, 2, 3 in the morning from a crack binge because he's worried about her. Alonzo Mourning was an adopted child. And lots of people have adversity. It's up to you to give into the adversity and give into a lifestyle, or you can choose to do the right thing. Okay? I know that a lot of us sometimes, and kids are, you can influence them easily. But in the end, you have a decision to make. And that's where I would say, that's where I would tell you that, that I can't have that moment where I feel sorry for you because you wanted to make a bad decision and hurt someone else. And that's what this guy did to several people. And that's where we have a choice in life. We have a choice, and you know what's right and what's wrong, and you know what's going to hurt people and what's not. And if you choose to, and I'm talking about like serious hurt. I'm not talking about breaking up with your girl or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife, and I don't care about that kind of stuff. That personal stuff, that happens to all of us. I'm talking about seriously hurting people. And this guy chose to do that, where you're, you're sexually assaulting somebody, physically assaulting them, obviously killing them, which is something that he was involved in. You make your choices, man. You make your choices on what kind of life you want to live, what kind of people you want to be around. But this is one that I got to see, because we've never, ever seen anything like this. A guy that is a murderer, allegedly, and he's, one of the most prolific.
Not allegedly.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Pretty done deal.
Yeah, pretty much. But a guy that's murdering on his off time and catching touchdowns, and is, really, think about that. It was so disgusting that the Patriots, they offered free jerseys, and you can bring your Aaron Hernandez jersey in. You know how genius of a move that was by the Patriots? Because it's bad press. The more they take off the street, the less you'll ever see out there and tied to their logo. You know what I mean? Smart as hell on their part. They didn't care how many jerseys got turned in as long as they got them off the street. Smart move, man. Great PR move by New England on that one. Yeah, why let them float around? People will then have them as collector's items, and then they'll sell them. And then you have idiots that cherish crap like, I mean, you have idiots that want to go take a picture with OJ. You know what I mean? It's like that.
Do you know what John Wayne Gacy's paintings of clowns are worth?
No, I don't.
Immense.
Really?
Amounts, lots.
Oh, there you
lots of money. Any of that serial killer, if you watch ID, you know, the show, the channel, which I do, a lot of that, remember, man, it's expensive. There's a want for it, and it's kind of morbid and sick.
Yeah, you got some dumbass hoes that are just calling these murderers in jail, and you know they want to marry them and all that. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you, woman? Come on. I mean, I get it. We're not a good breed when it comes to men, but damn, you can find at least one or two that are half decent that aren't in jail and didn't kill people.
The story that comes.
And there's a lot of us that don't kill people.
The Menendez brothers, one of them has a girl, that, you know, and I saw a thing on their relation. It's like, what's wrong with you? He's in jail. He killed his parents. If he would kill his parents, he'd kill you in a heartbeat. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Don't disagree with him. You know, smoke your ass out is what will happen.
We need to get ready.
Yes, we do, because we are going to have Kobe Price up from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. The Miami Heat are going to have Dwyane Wade Day, or days, actually 3 in a row. Kobe wrote that story in the Sun Sentinel. Plus, he also wrote about the Heat getting some players back, including Justice Winslow, which that's a nice guy to get back for a game like tonight with the Pacers. Don't know how much he'll play, but he can help you on the defensive end. And any help on the defensive end is good help. That's for damn sure. You're not really counting on Winslow to score a lot, but if he can stop a few people, that would be a sweet thing. So, Kobe Price from the South Florida Sun Sentinel is going to join us next.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Codsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, we are back. They almost they asked me to do another show on Sirius on Sunday from was it 1 to 3? I think it was 12 to 3. They wanted me to do on Sunday. I was like, yeah.
Ever so sorry. We will be on our way to St. Petersburg to do the East-West.
That's what I told my boss. I go, dude, I cannot do 11 to 3. They want me to do and on Sunday on Sirius, but I told them I can't, dude. I'm headed to the East-West Shrine. I can't that day. So
we'll be at Hialeah too.
Yeah, we'll be at
right 11 to 1.
We are going to do a show on Sunday from 11 to 1.
Unless they want us to talk about horses for the first couple hours
from
on Sirius, we can do that, right?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Patch them in.
Yeah, that would be cool. All right, let's talk to my man Kobe Price. He does an excellent job for the South Florida Sun Sentinel, the jack of all trades. He's covering everything, baby. You name it, he covers it. He's been covering FAU. He was covering the Heat also yesterday, covering Wade's 3-day extravaganza, a nice celebration. We'll talk a little bit with Kobe about that. Plus, the Heat are getting back some weapons for tonight, hopefully, against the Pacers. Follow him on Twitter at Kobe_P. More importantly, catch his work at the website for the Sun Sentinel or at your doorstep. Kobe, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing?
Doing well. Not well enough to get a 3-day celebration for my life and my career, but still doing pretty well.
Well, that's because you're young, man. You know, you've only dominated so long. They need a couple more years for you. Then we get a statue. We do it all. We do it all right for you, bro. We got you covered. Okay? And let me tell you, the Kobe statue is going to be put right in the middle of the bay. You know where that antenna used to be? That'll be where the Kobe statue is. So when the ships come in, they see Kobe, and you'll kind of be like the new lighthouse for us there. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It'll be like
I like that.
Yeah, it'll be about 400 or 500 foot tall. You know, so it really stands out. I love it, bro. And we'll make it like a Statue of Liberty. We'll be able to climb in. You know, I don't know. What do you want to be holding at the top? It can't be a torch. That's taken. What are you going to be holding, Kobe?
Either give me a cell phone or a notepad. I feel like it's appropriate.
Okay, cell phone is good because people can climb into the cell phone and then look out the digits or something. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Something like that.
Exactly.
I like it. We'll do that. Cell phone. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Kobe, let's talk about this 3-day celebration. It's kind of unprecedented. It's something really cool, something that's never been done before in a way. Everybody always does that one ceremonial thing, and then we're done. This is kind of a prolonged event and taking care of different layers of people.
Yeah, I mean, when we reported it, I reported it last Friday about how they were going to do something a little different. I wasn't completely sure that they were going to do an entire 3-day celebration weekend for Wade, but that's what they wound up doing. Personally, I haven't heard of this before. Like I said, unprecedented. I still am trying to fathom this and fathom trying to cover it and just it being a whole, literally an entire weekend of just Wade. And between the first night celebrating his career, the second day's actually the jersey retirement, then you have a screening of the documentary on Wade. So it's going to be a big thing. It's going to be huge. It's just one of those things that the Miami Heat, they're going all out, and they're going all out for a player who I don't think anyone would argue was or is the greatest to walk into American Airlines Arena as a Miami Heat player.
Well, Kobe, I'm a Marino guy. I think we can say he's the number one guy of all time in South Florida. He passed Marino, dude. It's 3 championships, man. It's any of us that are Marino guys like myself, it might bother you a little bit, but you got to be objective here. There is no athlete that's accomplished more than Dwyane Wade in his profession down here. He is the man when it's all said and done.
He is, and that's a great comparison, Marino Wade, and that's the difference right there. You bring 3 titles. You bring one, you win the Finals MVP, and then you help bring 2 more. With the Big 3 era, you're the leading scorer in franchise history. Granted, you didn't play all the years with the Heat, but nobody's going to remember those Cleveland and Chicago Bulls year and a half. We're only going to remember the Heat years. But, yeah, he's the man in South Florida. Not just in Miami, but all of South Florida. No matter where you go, he's a global icon. So, if anyone deserves a 3-day celebration weekend down in South Florida, can't argue with Wade.
No, and the first night, Kobe explained to folks that it's for season ticket holders, but the public will be able to view it too.
Yeah, it'll be a series of tributes that Friday night, February 21st, at American Airlines Arena. It will only be for season ticket holders, premium seat holders, and corporate sponsors. However, Fox Sports will have exclusive live coverage of the event, and it'll be basically a tribute. It'll be giving tributes to Wade's career and his life, and as well, the people who are in attendance, I believe, will also get a quick sneak peek of Wade's jersey retirement ceremony.
Let me ask you, Kobe, did you guys ask at all if there would be any statue? Because that's the one thing I did not hear. We got the Wade celebration the first night. We got the retirement of the jersey the second night. And then the third night, we have that documentary that you can buy tickets for $3 to get in. I did not hear of a statue. So no statue coming?
No, not now at least. No statue on the schedule. But just because it's not a statue now doesn't mean there can't be one built later.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, if they're going to build a statue, now maybe they're going to do 2 separate ones. But I think the Dwyane Wade, LeBron James picture for a statue, that would be iconic.
Wow, that's right. The one where he's just got his arms wide open and LeBron is dunking behind him. That actually, you know what? That would be the ultimate statue to put out there. You know what I'm saying? That is a great idea, Kobe, dude. Did you mention it to him? Because you should get credit for that. Okay, you need to get credit.
I haven't. And this honestly, this came to my brain as you were saying. It's like, you know what would be a good idea? That dunk. Now, granted, they might want to do 2 separate statues, and they might have one big one for the Big 3. But that wouldn't be a bad idea if they want to do a Wade and LeBron one together. But they might opt for a separate one. But I like that one.
But I also
arms out, LeBron dunking.
But I got to tell you, I also like your other idea of a big three statue because of the impact that they left. I like that, but Wade overall obviously deserves one. Here's something I added to all of this when I was reading your story. This is what I want. I want them to do something inside the arena in the concourse somewhere already for Pat Riley. I know he won't allow it because he'll want to be retired by that time. He doesn't want to be praised and all that because that's who he is. I get all that crap. But the man's in his 70s. That's the guy. And no statue. I'm talking about something that is like a little bit of a museum that kind of honors Riley, and it shows his entire path of 25 years from the first press conference that I covered 25 years ago when we're and Kobe, don't get jealous now, okay? Because I covered, no, I'm serious, the greatest press conference in South Florida sports history. Let me explain. Do you know how Pat Riley was introduced here in South Florida, Kobe? Do you know?
How so? No, I do not actually.
Okay. So Mickey ends up taking over the team. He hires, his first hire is Riley. You know where he holds a press conference? On a boat, dude. On a Carnival boat. So we go on the Carnival boat, and we're eating salmon and shrimp and all kinds. I'm telling you, it's catered like you've never seen anything before. Okay? A spread like nothing else. And then we had the Riley press conference. Now, no, you'll never have another press conference like that again, dude. Never. I mean, nobody's ever done anything like that. Only Mickey did that on the Carnival cruise ship like that. How about that? That's pretty cool right there.
I can't even. This doesn't even sound real to me, but I believe you.
No, trust me.
I firmly believe you.
You can ask Ira Winderman. He was there with me, obviously, because he's been there since day one. Obviously, covering the Miami Heat. You know what I got on right now? The YouTube audience is seeing it. I whipped out today a Rony Seikaly T-shirt. Okay, this mother's from 1989. This shirt is old. This shirt is older than you are, Kobe. Okay.
It's got some years on me.
Yes.
You got some years on me.
What year were you born, Kobe? What year?
I was born in '96. That year had some years on me.
It's like 8.
Oh man,
I
that's
think
like one of my older cousins right there.
Yeah. This shirt's from '89. I whipped it out today just to have a little fun with the folks on this one. But what do you think of my idea where they do something that has all kinds of imagery and pictures and an area in the concourse where people can walk by and kind of it's like a little hall of fame, but just for Riley? Don't you think they should do something like that?
They should do something to celebrate Riley. I don't know if it'll happen anytime while he's still in charge. I feel like as long as he's in charge, he's going to say no. But I do think that eventually, whether it's the year after he retires or maybe 5 years after he retires, I think it's something along those lines is appropriate. I mean, he's done so much for this franchise, keeping it respect. I mean, I'm talking about respectable franchises. It doesn't get better than the Heat to be respectable pretty much their entire run as a franchise.
Kobe,
and he's been the architect of that.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. He definitely deserves it. One of the other stories that you were writing about was the Heat injury situation. It looks like it's getting better with Justice. What do you hear?
Yeah, Justice is going to be available. The Ira just reported he's going to be available for the trip. He's going to be available tonight, matter of fact, against the Pacers.
And he's go ahead.
I was going to say he's going to be on a minutes restriction. However, he's still going to be available to play. He should be available throughout the road trip against the Pacers, the Knicks, and the Nets. And they're going to take it from there. And Jimmy Butler's back today, and they're looking like for the first time in a while, it's going to be all hands on deck. All hands on deck. You got all the guys back.
Yeah, the question is, will Spo use them because he's kind of been, limiting his rotation down to almost like 8 guys. I mean, even Olynyk, although I think because the Indy plays a couple of big guys, I think you may see Olynyk a little more or maybe even James Johnson to add a little more athleticism on the defensive end. What do you think happens tonight? Because they do play 2 bigger guys there in Indiana.
Yeah, I think, first, the the 7 to 8 man rotations, that's more so been out of, if we want to call it necessity or matchup wise. I think they played 7 or 8 guys against Portland. That was because Jimmy Butler and Justice Winslow were both out. So they probably would stretch that to 9 to 10. And with Kelly Olynyk, I mean, his playing time has gone down significantly the past couple of weeks. I think that could change. If it does change, it's against a team like Indiana that does have a Sabonis and a Turner sometimes on the court, both at the same time. But and James Johnson, I mean, he just played for the first time since the Houston game in November. Mm-hmm. So there's no telling. Suppose he's open-minded. He's open-minded to having guys in. But a lot of the lineups, they're going to be situational and personnel matchups. There's maybe 7 to 8 guys I would say you can expect to play on a consistent every night basis. And once everybody's healthy, and that is Jimmy, Bam, Kendrick, Myers, Duncan, Justice, Goron. I think I just named 7.
Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry you broke up there.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Those are the 7. If I need to repeat it, just let me know. But those are the 7 players who I expect to contribute on an everyday basis. And then when you get to your 8, 9, 10 guys, it may just shift, depend on the matchup. Derrick Jones Jr. has been a guy who's inserted himself into the regular rotation in recent weeks. And where does that put a guy like James Johnson or even Kelly Olynyk?
Yeah, I wonder the
Tyler Hero, by the way, that was 8. Tyler Hero was number 8.
Yeah, and listen, I wonder that with Derrick Jones Jr. kind of becoming that Swiss Army knife, how much does that limit Justice Winslow's participation in all of this? Because Jones is a better offensive player than Justice overall, and he's actually become pretty consistent now. And here's the other thing, the catch-22 to all of this. Do you trade Justice, or do you need to showcase him now in order to trade him? So do you kind of force the issue to play Justice a little bit more because maybe you're trying to move him? I don't know how they're going to handle this whole Justice situation. I don't even know how much they're going to play him because of some of the other guys now.
Yeah, I think Justice, he won't lose his position in the rotation. I mean, it was injury. None of it was performance-based. I think he'll still be a strong part of the rotation. And you can play Justice and Derrick together. Justice may play more guard. Derrick plays more of a wing, maybe even a 3 or 4. Sometimes even 4 in smaller lineups. And this is where it gets tough. I think, like I said, it's going to be a lot of it's going to be positionally. I think what the Heat have missed dearly from Justice these past months has not just been his playmaking on offense, but it's been his defense. Specifically, his point of attack defense. This trend that the Heat went through where their defense was kind of struggling, a lot of it can be tied to their point of attack defense, and they didn't have the guy in front, the first defender who would guard a smaller guard, the ball handler, who could just contain a ball handler on a consistent basis. I think that more than anything else they're going to benefit from, as well as his overall versatility on defense, his playmaking on offense, and then a little bit of shooting. He can be a little spotty, but his shooting, if he can stabilize it come season time, I think he'll be a consistent part. And I think Derrick Jones, he may see his minutes go down, or he may find a way to stay consistent with his minutes, and it'll be on maybe a guy like Myers who loses a few minutes. Maybe KO doesn't get as much time, and maybe James Johnson goes back to being on the bench regularly unless the matchups change.
Right.
Maybe they'll play small more unless they go against a big team tonight like Indiana.
Follow him on Twitter, by the way, at Kobe_P. Does excellent work for the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Your other beat there, FAU. What's the latest with Taggart, recruits, all those kind of things? How's that going since the takeover?
Yeah, the FAU had a nice early signing period, really prioritizing the trenches, the front line, depth, offensive line, and defensive line. They just got a commit from a junior college offensive lineman yesterday, and they'll have the National Signing Day in a little less than a month. So things are looking good up in Boca Raton.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Follow him on Twitter, Kobe_P. Kobe Price, as always. Thank you, my brother.
The schedule comes out.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and the schedule comes out later today. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, okay. All right,
so
cool.
We'll have the full schedule later today.
All right, there you go. All right, schedule coming out for FAU. Nice. All right, Kobe. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you taking the time. As always, look forward to that big-ass statue in the Bay.
For sure. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it, man. You be good. There you go. Kobe Price from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. I love it. Eddie Pichardo says, can't wait to the Heat game tonight. Last game against Indiana was amazing. This should be the same. See how Winslow plays as well. Go Heat. I wonder if they're trying to showcase Winslow. Do they try? See, this is Spo's team. So he's going to do whatever he needs to do to win. He's going to play the people that he feels he needs to play in certain matchups. He's already proven that. That's how he works the rotation. But you also have to kind of do what's best for the overall franchise. And right now, you're not missing Justice Winslow at all. You're not losing any games and looking around going, man, I wish we had Justice. Not one. You could lose a game and say, damn, I wish we had Jimmy Butler. You know, like the other day, it was a huge difference at the free throw line without Butler. Why? Because Butler goes to the line 9, 10, 12 times, 14 times a game.
Isn't he the number one guy in the league?
Yeah, exactly. So it took the average completely out of whack. Okay, now you're missing Jimmy Butler. You're missing his playmaking ability. You're missing all of that. You know what I mean? With Justice, you can miss his defense.
We probably miss Goran more than we would miss.
Oh, you missed Goran huge when he was out.
Exactly.
Wow, the bench wasn't the same. I mean, it was a decent bench. Now it's a great bench. When Goran is there, it's a great bench. It's one of the 5 best benches in the NBA. Points-wise is what I'm saying. Not even close. So that's why, you know, you look at that situation, I wonder what the Heat are going to do now, because now you activate him, and you remember you got James Johnson back. You don't need Dwyane, but you don't have a lot of trade pieces. You're not going to get rid of Tyler. You're not getting rid of Duncan. You're not getting rid of Kendrick Nunn, especially as cheap as those guys are. Trading them is garbage because you're not getting anything in return. You have to get salary for salary in the NBA. You have to be within, I think it's like 15, 20% of the salary, which means you can't get anything for Tyler Hero. And he's worth a lot, and so is Duncan Robinson. Duncan's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA by far. So you can get a lot for him if you were trading talent for talent, but in the NBA, the salary has to come in return, and that's why Miami's getting a bargain when it comes to those guys. But Winslow, you are paying. Winslow, you can get something in return. The problem is, what are you going to get? What is somebody going to offer you? Because Winslow is not the player normally that a team is looking at and says that, oh, we're a Justice away from a championship. It's a problem. You know what I mean? And now you could say, you know, we need help on the perimeter on defense. We can add this guy. But how much are you going to give up for that? Because by now, okay, we've got to stop already with this. He's never, ever going to become a good offensive player. It's just not going to happen anymore. He's been in the league long enough to figure that one out already. Okay, if you were going to shoot, you would shoot. Markelle Fultz, who completely forgot how to play the game, is now playing the game. Okay? This guy is what he is. And I like Justice. I'm a Justice fan. But he's a glue guy. Nothing more, nothing less. And you need glue guys. The problem is Miami already has several. And to add another one that doesn't help you out on the offensive end nearly as much and is not a good shooter in this league, it just doesn't help. Derrick Jones Jr. is a glue guy, a defensive specialist, but he's also a three-point shooter now that you're developing. And there's light at the end of the tunnel in that offensive game. In Justice, I've given up on the offensive game. I love him for everything else. Ball handling, distributing, defense, rebounding, team guy, character, leader. I love everything about Justice. Really, he's just a really good player in all those areas. Okay? But he's not a star. He's not an all-star. And he's not a dominant scorer. So he's a glue guy. There's only so much value for those kind of guys. and you're not going to get any kind of real star in return. And that's where it becomes a catch-22. How do you do it? What do you do? How do you put him out there to display his talents? That's the question you have to ask. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the show, Ty says, when are you going to be on Mad Dog so our Marco Sanchez can make his debut? I don't have a date now for Matt. Well, they wanted me on Sunday. I couldn't do Sunday. I don't have a date right now for my next Mad Dog appearance, actually. I don't think I do. Remember, I'm only filling in. I just do this every day, you know? And I couldn't do Sunday because I'm already doing a Sunday show, and then I'm headed to East West. I'm not canceling all of that for, the...
You do have a date and an appointment with Michelle Kaufmann.
Yes, we do. At the top of the hour here, we are going to do that. Let's see, what else do we have here? You guys doing a lot of discussing on your own. Don't forget, by the way, for those of you watching, to give us a thumbs up on the broadcast there. We'd appreciate it immensely. Spread the news. Tell the folks about us. Michelle Kaufmann is going to join us on the other side. Every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we talk to Michelle Kaufmann for our Inter-Miami report. We'll get her thoughts also on UM losing yesterday to Louisville. They gave it a battle. At 2:30, our draft focus. We do it. We try to do it almost every day. Here, we're trying to get as many quarterbacks as possible headed into the draft. Theo Lawson is a writer for the Spokane Review in Spokane, and he covers Washington State, the Cougars. And guess who quarterbacks for the Cougars? Anthony Gordon. Guess who's going to the Senior Bowl? Anthony Gordon. So we are going to talk about Anthony Gordon with Mr. Theo Lawson at 2:30. That will be our NFL draft focus. So Dolphins out there, or if your favorite team needs a quarterback, you want to hear about this guy, like all the other interviews that we've had, and you can go back and listen to them on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher and SoundCloud and Google Play. And remember to follow us at Big O Radio Show. Make sure you follow also our YouTube website at Big O Radio Show also. And remember, you can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. Let's take a break. Michelle Kaufmann from the Miami Herald joins us next.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
Up on 2019 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are back, and we promised, as always, every week at this time, we talk with Michelle Kaufmann from the Miami Herald and our Inter-Miami, of course, report, which we'll talk a little bit more than Inter-Miami today, because yesterday, of course, the Canes played, and we'll talk to Michelle a little bit about that. Michelle, first of all, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good, good. How are you? The weather is beautiful. I have the door open to the office, and it's brilliant outside because I know it's cold and raining and snowing in other places.
Yes, it is, and it's really nice for us right now. Last night, before we get into a little Inter-Miami, the boys had a rough one. We kind of expected it. It is Louisville. It is the ACC. But, hey, it was a little, for a young team, and that's what we have to understand about them. It was a gritty effort for them last night. They fought as much as they could, in other words.
Yeah, I mean, they went down by 20, and all of a sudden they got it to 5. Any team that can cut a lead from 20 to 5 against a top 15 team. Louisville is a very, very good team, although they lost a couple of games. They lost FSU the other day, but that's Leonard Hamilton. He does that to you sometimes. But they cut it down from 20 to 5. I really thought they were maybe going to pull it off. It was very exciting at that point that they had, they didn't collapse when they went down by 20 on the road. They stuck with it. They kept going. They got it to 5. And, once again, they don't have much depth. And, Chris he's very good, but he's small. And they don't have much depth. And Keith Stone got injured again, his knee, which is a shame because he was actually helping a lot in the paint recently since he just had come back about 4 weeks ago, and he had made a big difference just having a rotation, having an extra big body in there to do the dirty work. And so they don't have him. Harlan Beverly is out pretty much. He's very limited, and he's another he was actually of the freshmen the one that was contributing the most before he injured his back. So he's kind of a day-to-day thing. So, they were a little bit short in numbers and short in stature with Chris, and they still, they didn't embarrass themselves. They played much better than they did against Duke, and they were able to battle back to get it to within 5, at the very close to the end of the game. So I think, the truth is Duke and Louisville, those are both really, really good teams. They happen to get them back-to-back. Now they'll have Pitt on Sunday at home. And, the following weekend they have FSU here, which is always a tough game. But, the ACC is tough. But I don't think anybody would be surprised if they end up, in the top half of the ACC. I don't think they're going to be the best team in the ACC. I don't think they're going to be the worst. I think they're going to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle. They'll be one of those bubble teams trying to get in. Really, Michelle, we're a year away, right? Like next year should be.
It's 1 year away.
Yeah.
They're 1 year away. They're going to have almost everyone back. The only senior
Vasiljevic, right?
is Vasiljevic, and he's a big loss. He's actually each year gotten better, and he's a very, very good shooter, although he missed them last night. But, they're going to lose him, but they're getting 2 really, really good freshmen, and all the guys that they have are going to be back. And then there's a transfer from Cincinnati who's, very, very good. So, he's a big leader and a big time player. So I think next year they're going to be good. I think this year they're going to be up and down a little bit. Like I said, I think they'll finish in the top half of the league. I don't think they'll be in the bottom half, but they don't quite have yet what it takes to beat the elite teams in the conference.
How screwed up is it? Because none of us would have guessed this. When this university entered the ACC, that the men's basketball program would actually adjust to basketball a lot faster and have way more success than football ever did, when basketball is 10 times harder in the ACC than it is in football. How in the world can you explain this? Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the idea was they're going to enter the ACC, they're going to dominate in football, and they're going to struggle in basketball.
Yeah.
And it's turned out to be opposite. I mean, they've won ACC titles. And they've beaten Coach Ellis, 5-6 against Duke. He has 5 wins over Duke since he took over here. So, they're beating the elite teams in the conference, every other year pretty much. And, made it to 2 Sweet 16s and won ACC titles, not just half of the conference, won the whole conference title more than once. And, the basketball team has outdone the football team, honestly, since they joined the ACC.
Yeah, I just try to explain to people, be patient, because, look, we have to understand what they are, okay? They're a very good program under Larinaga, but because of the way things are built and the way this whole system is built, they probably are going to have a really good team every couple of years. They don't have the luxury of, adding a McDonald's All-American every year like Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina can do, where they're going to be elite every year. There's going to be a little bit of a turnover.
You look at Duke. I mean, you look at Duke the other night. They played 10 guys. Every single one of those 10 guys is an elite, 5-star recruit. So when their starter comes out and the backup comes in, there's not really that much of a drop. And they don't have that luxury here. And one of the reasons we talk about it all the time, but the fans, the basketball fans that are out there, or the UM fans that complain, they need to go to the games and create some atmosphere at those games, because, if there are Hurricane fans out there complaining about the basketball team, how many games have those people actually attended? How many times have they screamed their lungs out for the basketball team? And I've traveled around the
Michelle, we are not allowed to complain about UM basketball. We cannot. That's
right.
It's ignorant to complain about UM basketball. We just spoke about how productive they have been, and considering how difficult it is in the ACC, their accomplishments are freaking amazing. We can complain.
I know. They're recruiting. They're trying to recruit. Yeah, they're trying to recruit against basketball blue bloods, powerhouses like Duke, Carolina, Virginia. I mean, these teams, NC State, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech. These are all basketball schools, more than football. These are basketball schools with long basketball traditions. Hall of Fame coaches, Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski, and, you've got programs that have long, long traditions, and for Coach L to come in here and beat them on a fairly consistent basis and have the success he's had is very, very impressive. And, for them to be able to compete for the top recruits, like, I got a few emails. I wrote about Vernon Carey the other day, and I got a few emails, how come couldn't get him, whatever. But, that's an elite player. He was recruited by all the top programs in the country, and he considered of course. He loves His dad went there. But at the end of the day, it's tough for Miami to get those very, very, very top recruits to come here. But it would help if when they bring the recruits to games, the stadium was full, the arena, and there were students in the student section cheering and making noise like they do at every other ACC school. Has great atmosphere for basketball, and needs to create a little bit more of that in order to help with the recruiting, in my opinion.
And they deserve it. That's the thing. Look, we can bitch, complain, point fingers at the football program. They have screwed up in every single way and form out there. That's legit. But basketball, there is no complaining. They have been absolutely outstanding. And if anybody thinks they're going to become Duke or North Carolina, then you're just ridiculous at this point. You have to appreciate what Larrañaga's done. I mean, and he could be even leaving you his replacement in Caputo. That's the other thing that but most people don't even care or even talk about that. But the next guy could be in place already for the Canes. That's how set up.
Oh yeah, no.
Chris
Caputo has been with them. Yeah, Chris Caputo is. He has turned down some top jobs. Some head jobs already because he's really happy here and likes to work. He's worked with Coach L his entire career, pretty much. He's been by his side and learned from a guy who took George Mason to the Final Four. I mean, that is the ultimate. Not only did he take George Mason to the Final Four, but who he beat to get to that Final Four with a George Mason team that nobody would have traded rosters. Not one top program in this country would have traded rosters with the George Mason roster. And yet he took that team to the Final Four. So, no, there's no question Coach L gets the most out of his teams. He's a great tactician. He figures out ways to beat teams that they can beat. I just think right now, some of the top teams in this conference are a little bit out of their reach right now.
No doubt. All right, let's move over to Inter Miami. That's what we do every week. But, you cover basketball. They played last night. We got to get a little love in for basketball.
That's right.
So what do we got new going on with Inter this week? What's the latest going on?
Well, the big news is that the college draft is tomorrow. So that's the big news, is that they are preparing for the college draft. They have the number 1 overall pick and the number 3 pick. So they're going to get 2 of the top 3 players in college. And the way the draft works, for those who don't know, it's mostly seniors who are coming out, but there's also Generation Adidas, which is a small group of players that are underclassmen who have been selected, and their contracts are sponsored by Adidas. And so, A, those salaries do not count against the salary cap. B, those underclassmen players, if they are selected, have their education paid for in the future, should they decide to go back and finish up their college degree. So it's a way. It was started many, many years ago because younger players were allowed to go, sign with European teams, but they were not being able to sign here because they were losing their NCAA eligibility and blah, blah, blah. So MLS partnered with Nike. Back then it was called Project 40. Now it's Generation Adidas. But anyway, since 2003, every single number 1 pick since 2003, so 16 years in a row, the number 1 pick has been one of the Generation Adidas players. So I think it is a very safe bet, and I pretty much can assure you that the number 1 pick is going to be one of the 5 players who are in the Generation Adidas class of this year. So 2 of them are really good forwards. One of them is a sophomore from UVA, from Virginia, that's coming out, who's a phenom named Daryl Dyke, and his brother played in the MLS. He's a young guy, a sophomore, but super strong, super good instincts. He's, supposed to be like this incredible phenom who scored a bunch of goals, scored in the championship game against Georgetown. They ended up losing in penalty kicks, but he scored the goal for Virginia and he was only a sophomore. So that guy is one. Then the guy who won the Herman Trophy this year, which is like the Heisman for soccer, is a junior out of Clemson. His name is Robbie Robinson. He's also a center forward, tall, like 6'2", big guy, big target. Was the leading scorer in the country, tied with 18 goals, like in 21 games for Clemson. And I think Clemson had the top offense in the country or whatever. So he's another guy that is one of the top players in the Generation Adidas class. Then if they decide they want to go with a defender with that number 1 pick, there's a center back named Jack Maher, Maher from Indiana, also a sophomore. So the two sophomores that I've mentioned are, the fact that they're already chosen by the league and Adidas to be in the draft as coming out as sophomores. That's like kind of like the basketball players that come out after 1 or 2 years. These are really, really talented players who are very young but have a lot of upside. So that's, the top center back is him. And then there's another one named Henry Kessler, also out of Virginia, who's a center back. And then there's a sophomore winger, Ryan Raposo from Syracuse. Those 5 players are considered the top 5, the top 5 underclassmen that are coming out. And all of them signed Generation Adidas contracts. And like I mentioned, every number 1 pick since 2003 has been a Generation Adidas player. So I think it's a pretty safe assumption that their number 1 pick and maybe the 3 also will come out of that little pool. And then there are 2 seniors. One is a defender from Georgetown named Dylan Nealis, whose brother also played in MLS, and a Stanford defender, Tanner Beeson. Both of those pre-signed MLS contracts and are eligible for the draft. They're kind of considered the 2 of the top seniors. Then there's one guy who's interesting, and I don't know. I only mention him because of Paul McDonough's background with Orlando and the fact that we live in Florida. There's a center forward out of UCF named Cal Jennings. He had 18 goals. He tied with Robinson that I mentioned earlier with the Herman Trophy winner. Mm-hmm. He tied with 18 goals in 20 games. He scored 14 goals in 15 games as a junior and 18 goals in 20 games as a senior. So he's a very, very prolific scorer out of UCF, Cal Jennings. The only thing with him is that the competition he played against at UCF was not quite the top conference as the guys, that are at UVA and IU.
ACC.
Yeah,
ACC. You mentioned a lot of ACC schools out of those top draft picks.
Yeah, of the top 5, you have Clemson, you have UVA, you have UVA, Syracuse. So, these are, the ACC is super strong in men's and women's soccer. So anyway, the big story will be tomorrow it's at 12:30 is the first pick. So they have the number 1 pick and the number 3 pick. And both of those, I believe, will be players who will be able to contribute and, compete for playing time, coming out of college. So we're going to have 2 more players on the team tomorrow. And then the 2 DPs are still being worked on. The other news I have is that the coach, Diego Alonso, the reason he's not here yet, you may be wondering, they're starting practice in 10 days from now. Mm-hmm. Training camp begins, they report for their physicals on the 18th of January. So that's in 10 days from today. The coach is not here because they are working on his work visa. He needs a work visa in order to be able to even have a press conference here or to run a practice. So they are working right now very diligently on with immigration to try to get his work papers in order ASAP so that he can get here and be able to start coaching and have his opening press conference and all that. So that's all in the works right now. So he'll be able to be here in time for the opening of training camp, January 18th. Then your next question is going to be, as you've been asking me for many weeks now, where are they going to practice? That is also going to be announced in the next few days here. It is going to be regional. They are going to be likely in various locations in the state of Florida. I don't know for sure. I don't think they're leaving Florida, but I think they're going to be regionally in, South Florida, West Florida, Central Florida, for various portions of their training camp. So that's all going to be announced in the next few days. The coach is supposed to be, as soon as he gets his work visa, he will be in Miami or Fort Lauderdale. And then we're waiting on the DPs. We're waiting on the DPs. I would assume that they would like to have them named before January 18th, which is when the training camp starts. So they've got 10 days to get a lot of things done.
All right. I like that. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you, do they have intentions to compete for a title right from the get-go?
Wait, I didn't hear that.
Do they have?
Wait, say that again.
Okay, can you hear me now? You got me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Are there intentions to be competitive for a title right from year one, or should we treat them like an expansion
their intentions
team?
are to compete from year one. No, their intentions are to make a playoff run in year one. Yeah, they're not viewing this as a they plan to compete from year one. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's good.
Yeah, they know they have to. I mean, this is Miami. Okay, we know. We've just discussed. This is Miami. They're not going to be settling for, we have a new team here, and we think that in 2 years from now, in 2022, we're going to be competitive. No. This is Miami, and they know that they have to make a really good impression from the start. So I think the two DPs are going to be players that are going to be very high-level players. And, I think that what Paul did in Atlanta, he's trying to replicate here to be,
right.
To be a playoff team right from the get-go.
Okay. All right. Well, that's definitely good to hear. Any news on the jerseys? Do we know the dates at all when they're actually going to be released?
I don't know the dates. That apparently is coming down from Adidas, and we are still waiting. I mean, I think every day that goes by is a day wasted, but, I'm not in charge. Nobody asked my opinion, so I would have put them out before the holidays, because I know that I would have bought several of them for my relatives and friends. So no, I don't know when that's happening. It's supposed to be soon. I had heard, early to mid-January, before, again, all of these things should be in place, to be honest, before they, they're going to report for physicals 10 days from today. I would think that they would want to have their jersey already in place when they start their training camp. They would want to have their coach here on the ground when they start training camp. And they would want to have their DPs. They would want to have the roster full, not have, some spots open there lingering, because I think, they do have till February officially to finalize the roster. I think there's like a roster freeze. At some point in February, they can't add anybody anymore. So I suppose they could drag it out even longer, but I would think they'd like to get all of these things accomplished in the next 10 days. It's a very, very busy. Each time I've been trying to call over there and talk to people at Inter Miami, when I get through to them, it sounds very crazy and hectic over there. There's a lot going on.
I would imagine. I mean, it's crunch time already at this point. So, yeah.
It's crunch time. It's crunch time, yeah.
Big time. All right, follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. More importantly, catch her work at your doorstep or online at the Herald Sports website. Michelle, as always, thank you for taking some time. Can't wait for a little football.
Okay, me neither. It'll be fun.
Happy New Year. Be good.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.
All right, there you go. The great Michelle Kaufmann, man, joining us here on the program. How about that? Speaking of, I can't say soccer, but I can say football, or how about American football? Did you hear about this? Santia Deck, okay? She is now the face of the Women's Football League Association, the WFLA. Did you guys ever hear about that? It is a new league. It is going to start off in 2021. All right? It's an elite women's league. And Santia, you can look her up, by the way. She's a looker. She's the queen of abs. She's a track star, a rugby player. She's a celebrity fitness trainer. She's published multiple books and DVDs. She is part of the WFLA's Los Angeles franchise. Now, this is a women's football league that has 32 teams. 32. They've got 2 conferences, 32 teams. And she just signed a multi-million-dollar contract. Now, they didn't release the details, so I don't know exactly what that multi-million-dollar contract exactly means. I have a hard time understanding that because I don't even think that league will produce any money. But I'm just wondering. I mean, I know that you guys and ladies out there, a lot of you are going to mention the lingerie league, right? Because that's what got popularity because, of course, women in lingerie playing football. This is not considered a lingerie. This is considered a legitimate elite women's football league. Any shot that this has success. And look it up. Santia Deck is, did you look her up?
No, I'm just lingerie league. I see pillows, feathers flying in the air, oh, there's a football. Don't worry about it. We got a pillow,
Right, yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I get that that's the impression that you would get from those lingerie leagues. But yeah. So Santia. And let's see. Let me, can we give you all right, here we go. There's a picture of Santia. Let's see. Santia is talented. I'll give you that.
Listen, there's going to be some sex appeal here, correct?
Just a tad.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just a tad. It's interesting that the face of the league is hot. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Well, you remember League of Their Own, and wow, she's gorgeous. But League of Her Own, the lady, and it's, oh, cut this, do that, paint those, oh, God. Are they going to have night games?
Yeah. That's, well, you definitely want day games with Santia. That's for sure.
You don't want her wearing a helmet with those eyes.
Yeah.
You want to be able to see those eyes.
She's a good-looking girl, man. Good-looking girl. But they gave her a multi-million-dollar deal. Huh?
More power for her, man. Good for her.
No, great for her. I'm just wondering, is it a good business move? And I wonder who's investing in a 32-team women's – the men's league just failed. Right now, they just had that other men's league, and it failed miserably. They couldn't even get through a season. They didn't have enough funding. I just have a hard time believing that a women's league is going to make it at all.
You do know that sometimes
their soccer is better than our soccer, and they can't make it in soccer professionally because women play a much prettier game than our guys. Okay? I mean, it's not even close.
The fundamentals are
everything.
It's like girls basketball. The fundamentals are so amazing.
They know how to play together. We suck. Okay?
Our girls are
awesome.
Our guys
I love watching the girls play.
Yes.
And then we had the pro league here, and we had one in Boca. We had one of the teams was in Boca. I went up for a couple of games. Nobody would go.
No,
nobody would go. It was friends and family.
Here,
there.
my dad will not miss the girls' game.
Of course not.
Will not, and it is must see.
It is.
It is.
Love watching the ladies play, but unfortunately, women's sports doesn't make any money. Women don't even support women's sports. You realize that, right? Any of you women that are watching me right now, you don't go to a WNBA game. You don't go to a women's soccer game. Not the Olympics, not the national. I'm talking about the professional women's soccer leagues that have existed. You don't go. It's the funniest thing in the world. One of the reasons why women's sports is an enormous failure at the box office because women don't support it. And they outnumber us.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay?
The ratio used to be bigger, but they say it's closer to 50, mid-50s, upper 50s to, 43, 48.
Yeah. And so you outnumber us, and you'll go. You know what? The only women's sport that people will go see, I'm talking about women, women's tennis. That's it. They don't go see. They don't support their own in any sport outside of women's tennis. It's amazing. Now, you tell a woman you want to go to an NBA game or an NFL game or a college football game over in WNBA, for sure. They won't even bother. They're just like us because they look at the quality and they say, no, I'm used to watching the men. They play at a higher level. And that's why even women's basketball does not succeed. The WNBA is a loser. Doesn't make money. It's supported by the NBA. It's crazy. But the biggest culprit on why women's pro sports is not successful, it's women. It's crazy. Women. They don't support their own.
You know what's another thought hero?
What's that?
I can remember back in the day, Flanagan's, and they had one there in Miami Springs. The place sat dormant. Then they ended up coming in and putting all the new stuff and refurbishing and this and that, and talking to one of the managers, obviously being close about it. This was to show a loss. Maybe these people have enough money that they need a tax write-off.
Well, the NBA, yeah, or the
Maybe,
owners,
maybe
they're
they
the
need
ones.
to show
They're
a
the
loss.
ones. They're the ones that own the team. Well, no, I don't think so because
I'm just saying as a possible business scenario.
I'm just telling you, Mickey got rid of the soul because it didn't make money.
Well, Mickey,
he wasn't going to, like some of the owners
subsidize.
Yeah, some of the owners are supporting those WNBA teams and they're not making a dime. They're losing.
Oh, they are.
They're losing their ass.
Maybe one or two teams in the whole league are
maybe.
breaking even.
It's like college basketball. It's UConn and it's Tennessee and whatever, a couple other teams. Baylor, right. There's a couple teams.
Stanford.
A couple women's teams, and after that, nobody's making money.
Notre Dame is starting to. You know what? I noticed that our girls, us and Florida State, were both in the top 20, and Florida State got the better of our girls.
Nathan Hall is saying here on the chat board that February 5th for the Kits, it was just announced by the MLS. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that, my brother. Ian from Brooklyn says, she's fine, but me thinks those are contacts, LOL. Oh, her eyes, I didn't really look that deep into her. Wow, Ian, you must have your own pictures.
That's what I was saying. Remember I said she can't wear a helmet. You got to see her eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me see her eyes.
Mesmerizing, bro.
Let me see her eyes.
You know what? Can I say something, sir? It's time to find out about a Washington State quarterback.
Yeah. She does have awesome eyes.
That's
I don't
what
know
I
if they're
was saying.
You know what? I don't think they're contacts, actually. I don't think so. Good. I don't think it's a contact, actually. I think it's a real deal.
Oof.
Real eyes.
Man.
She's gorgeous, man. She's gorgeous. But, yeah.
I can understand why the league made her the face of the whole situation.
And she's already got,
a following,
star quality to her, a little celebrity to her as a celebrity fitness trainer and writing books and DVDs and things like that. But I get it. But, wow, impressive. But now I will say this. I may just watch just to see if I can get to see an interview of Santia Dek on the not because I'm going to watch the game itself, but just she takes off her helmet and does the interview, then yeah.
O's chiming in the last minute of the game. Doesn't care what the score. Yeah, come on, get that out of. Let's get that camera back on that girl.
I'm sitting there with my wife 2 nights ago, and we're watching television, and I channel surf, and I'm forgetting the name of the movie. Dusk Till Dawn, and
Selma. Oh, Selma.
So I go like this, right? I'm channel surfing through the DirecTV. Yeah, I'm still doing that. And I see Dusk Till Dawn, right? And my wife is sitting right next to me. And I go, oh, let's see if Salma Hayek is a Salma Hayek scene. And sure enough, dude, right when I hit it, it's the Salma Hayek
Timing
scene.
is of the essence, my brother.
And my wife is like, what are you talking about? I go, watch.
You're as bad
And she watches. She goes, what's the big deal? I go, what's the big deal? I go, it's Salma Hayek, a snake, that body. Come on. Give her credit. Even you got to give her credit. And she goes, okay, yeah, she's hot.
But it's not anywhere near your girl.
Who? Which one?
Holly.
Oh, Holly. Yeah, no. Well,
I was going to say, you're like George Costanza with what's her name and Susan. Hey, isn't that another one of those movies with her?
Yeah, Holly's definitely. All right, we're super late.
My cousin Vinny.
Yes, we're super late. Theo Lawson, we talk Anthony Gordon in less than a minute right now.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, it's time for our NFL Draft Focus, and we are going to go out west. Theo Lawson, he covers the Washington State Cougars for the Spokane Review, and you can follow him on Twitter at Theo_Lawson SR. Theo, good afternoon, my man. How are you doing?
Hey, great. Thanks for having me on.
It is great to have you on, my friend. Obviously, I know my producer explained it to you. Down here in Miami, they've got about 4,000 picks in the NFL draft. So we've been going around the country talking to the different beat writers that cover some of the quarterbacks going into the draft. And, in fact, I'll see your boy Anthony Gordon next week or 2 weeks from now in the Senior Bowl. He's going to be out there, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in person. For those of us out here in Miami and South Florida and Dolphins around the world, they don't necessarily watch a lot of Washington State football. Describe Anthony Gordon to folks out there.
Yeah, and obviously Anthony Gordon. This was his only year starting for Mike Leach at Washington State. Took a backseat to Gardner Minshew last year, and I actually almost won the job. Almost beat out Gardner Minshew for that job last fall. So I think a lot of people forget how close those two were last year. So Anthony Gordon had the opportunity to be a 2-year starter at Washington State. Obviously won the job this year. So we had a year to kind of learn under Minshew, learn under Luke Falk 2 years ago. So it's really been around some great quarterbacks. Two other quarterbacks who've also led the country in passing, and then Anthony Gordon kind of waited around, and really credit to him. I think it would have been pretty easy for a guy like that to transfer out 2 years ago. When you see a transfer come in, when you see a guy like Luke Falk hold the job for 3 years, so credit to him for kind of sticking it out because I'm not sure a lot of other quarterbacks would have done that this day and age, but he obviously developed a lot under Mike Leach, and then really has a natural quick release, and that's probably his biggest strength, probably the thing that separates him from the last two quarterbacks I mentioned. So I think he had some upside, and then really kind of worked on his accuracy, and then kept on the interceptions a lot. He did throw 16 picks this year, but still that was still a significant area of development the last couple of years. So I think I believe with the next few months going to the Senior Bowl, hopefully going to the Combine, and then having pro day here in Pullman, I believe he'll have a chance to show a lot of people who didn't get a chance to watch the Pac-12 this season kind of what he's about.
Theo Lawson, of course, from the Spokesman Review in Spokane, joining us. And Theo, when you look at Anthony Gordon, does he look to you like the kind of guy that would start in the NFL, or does it look more like a project that you would have to work on and hope that you can get him over the top?
I think I believe he probably will have to be a project for a couple of years, maybe find a right situation where you are maybe developing underneath a better quarterback, and then really learning how to take snaps under center. Obviously, with Mike Leach's air raid offense, he doesn't do that very much. He's going to have to probably learn a completely new offense in the NFL. But I also said that about Gardner Minshew last year, that Minshew would probably have to spend 2 to 5 years as a backup. Maybe he would be a career backup who would just kind of spell quarterbacks here and there, and then step in and out. But obviously Minshew proved a lot of people wrong, and wound up starting for the Jaguars and a pretty decent rookie season down there in Jacksonville. So I never really know which way these air raid quarterbacks go. But I do believe Gordon will be a kind of guy who probably does have to develop and kind of learn NFL offense and spend a few years in the film room and hopefully play a lot of preseason snaps and then get experience that way.
Theo, is he a better talent than Gardner Minshew in your eyes, or is he worse in other areas? How would you describe it when you would compare the two?
Yeah, I really believe Gordon's probably is better in a few areas and probably is worse in a few areas. I really think the last three quarterbacks Mike Leach has had with Paul, Minshew, and Gordon are all very different quarterbacks. And Minshew is very mobile. He's definitely not a running quarterback, but he obviously can't escape the pocket and extend plays. Falk doesn't have that. Anthony Gordon doesn't really have that. But Gordon probably is a little bit more athletic than Falk was, but he's certainly not going to be looking to make plays outside of the pocket. But I would probably say Gordon has better, overall arm talent. He actually was a former baseball player. Was a MLB draft pick of the New York Mets out of high school. Decided to play football instead. So he's always had a really great arm. I believe he was an infielder in high school. So he really kind of has a cannon and really has a quick release. I'm not sure that there's a quarterback in this draft class that probably has a quicker release than Anthony Gordon, so that it really helps him get the ball out quicker and really avoid sacks in his offense. So I think he has all those things going for him. He really is kind of calm back there. Doesn't move his feet a lot, and he really is kind of poised. So I think that those are a few qualities that Gordon probably has over Minshew. I would obviously be hard pressed to say that he's a better quarterback or better NFL prospect than someone who just started half the season for the Jaguars. But I believe he has a lot of things going for him, and I'm not sure he'll probably learn a lot through this pre-draft process.
Awesome. Good stuff. And Theo Lawson covers Anthony Gordon for the Spokane Review in Spokane. Follow him on Twitter at Theo_Lawson SR. Theo, thank you for taking some time here on the program, my man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the insight.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
You got it. There you go. Theo Lawson, man. Good stuff there and breaking it down for Anthony Gordon. And that's what I'm actually looking forward to, seeing the athleticism and the arm, because it's something that you watch. I watched the Air Force game the other day, the bowl game that he had. They lost, I think, 31-21, I want to say, that they lost. And he played all right. It wasn't anything special in that game. But it's one of those guys that kind of tempts you with the talent, and that you hope that he can kind of, put it all together when it's all said and done. But it's a project type guy. That's why I don't think he's going to go anywhere near the first 3 rounds probably. He's probably a 4th round guy and beyond is where he's probably going to end up going, somewhere in the 3rd day. But because he's 6'3", because he's got an arm, because he can move around a little bit, this is one of those guys that NFL teams and guys are going to want to get, because you're not spending a really high pick on him. And yet he's got all the talent that maybe you can develop something into him. Maybe you can't. You never know. But that's the kind of project that you get with a guy like Gordon. I can't wait to see him over at the Senior Bowl and see how he comes through. Anyway, we got to thank Kobe Price, Michelle Kaufmann. We got to thank Pat Boylan from the Pacers. Also, Theo Lawson for joining us on the program. Of course, Bill, as always, getting it done. John Cassio, our producers, always working hard.
Thank you, O.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody out there, thanks you in Radio Land.
I don't know about that, but I thank all of you out there for your incredible support.
If you're watching on YouTube, remember to give us the thumbs up, please.
Yes, plenty of thumbs up there on the YouTube broadcast. We will see you tomorrow live from Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be on at 11 a.m. We'll see you then. You guys be good out there. Be safe. Go Heat. Enjoy that heat tonight.
Have a good night.